and we'll see if this gets us started.
Conspiracy theories are dangerous.
Information is the democracy.
With Republicans, with progressives, with libertarians, because this is not about right and left, this is about right and wrong.
It's so sacred we can't talk about it.
Our security is at stake.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to a good Sunday evening live. Tonight, we have some uncomfortable questions about Turning Point USA to go over, and a roundup of sort of where we're at with the research and the theories and the evidence about Charlie Kirk's shooter and the scene of the crime and what we do and don't know for sure at this point. And we're going to set the stage for a deeper dig into TPUSA and into the Israeli propaganda machine and the donor class that we'll be doing over the course of this week. But tonight, before we get to the analysis of, let's just say, questions about Turning Point USA staff, about Charlie's bodyguards, about insiders and a potential inside threat, before we get to all that, let's go over the last bit of footage that I brought from actually visiting. I have to refresh my screen here for a second. Okay. I want to go over the last bit of footage from visiting the UVU campus. And then at the end of the night tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload it so that everybody can find it and share it and download it and use it if any investigators find any of it helpful. So in real brief, for anyone that is going to use this footage in the future, that's going to include the full walkthrough of the neighborhood into campus with audio and everything. All of this I'm going to put up. The whole route inwards, analysis of the route, walked it as best as I could. The doors on campus were locked, so I couldn't exactly track Tyler's exact route, but then all the shots that I have from the entire time, I'm not going to cut anything out or change anything. It's just exactly as I recorded it on campus. And then, and we've already analyzed all this. We did a whole live stream where we analyzed all my footage from that day. And we'll look a little bit at it. Primarily, there's this thing on the roof that I was very curious about that we spent some time looking at and zooming in on, trying to figure out what is that thing on the roof, because I saw it in the original footage, and there's something in that location in the original footage that was published by Life is Driving on YouTube. It's like the 1 hour long live stream that is where we have a lot of our best footage from. And in that footage, it appears that there's a thing on the roof there that is there before the shooting and disappears after the shooting. And that caught my eye and got me wondering. And so I, in a lot of ways, went all the way to UVU campus just to look at that rooftop and to see what is up there. And when I got there, I found this weird object that doesn't look like what was in the footage that we saw from the day of the shooting. And it kind of just raises more questions than answers. So I kind of feel like I actually want to pull up this footage, Life is Driving Adam Bartholomew, and actually just look at it in his original video here, just so I can make this point extra clear. So this is raw footage that Life is Driving, Mr. Bartholomew, Adam Bartholomew, put online, and it's his whole live stream from that day. And there's some really interesting details about how his live stream was disrupted by some unknown wireless signal. That is a whole other dig that Crowdsource the Truth, Jason Goodman, is on, that I want to bring more attention to in the future, but it's kind of complicated to talk about. So for now, let's just look at this thing on the roof. From here, it's pretty big, right? Even though we're relatively far away from it. And of course, here's my screen freezing on us again. Let me see if that fixes her. No. Okay. So there's this little item on the rooftop over there, right? And this is as Adam Bartholomew is walking around the back side of the venue. You can see Charlie Kirk's tent down below right there. And then as he gets around this back side, so now he's on the walkway that's looking straight up at this building. Charlie Kirk would be down off the side of this walkway beneath and to the left. And we can still see that the item is still there. And it looks like a straight, like a little like exhaust vent, like a straight up and down little pole. And we went over this on the other live stream. But I just want to like, remind us of the point here. In this video here, you can see right here, this kid with the curly hair and the white shirt right there, that is one of the kids that he is going to interview. Okay? This kid in the white shirt here, this kid in the white shirt here, this is the group of kids that he walks up and interviews. And we can clearly still see the thing right there, although it looks a little different suddenly, but I'm not trying to, analyze the pixelation of this item. I'm just saying that it's there, right? It's visible. And see, he's getting closer to them. And when the camera's moving around really fast, sometimes it disappears and reappears and gets all blurry and distorted. So we're not trying to like be super picky about what exactly it looks like. I'm just saying that it's still there. And right now it's still there, right? And he's basically at the position where he interviewed them from. And it's still there. And right now, those guys are right here next to him. Okay, see, from there, he turns left, and he's right here next to them, and he interviews them, okay? So the thing is visible from this standing position where he does this interview with these kids, okay? And he interviews these guys for quite some time, and they're chatting, and they're chatting, and they're chatting, and then he actually like gets into the interview, and they're chatting, and they're still in this exact same position. They have not moved, right? And then we don't see that rooftop until after the shot has been fired. And the interview goes on for quite some time. And then this is where the shot is about to be fired, right there. Okay. And then right here is where we get our first glimpse of the rooftop. Nothing there all of a sudden. It's possible that from the lens moving around, there's distortion and it is there, but we just can't see it. But right here, we get another view. Nothing there. Okay. During this movement process where the shot happens, the kids run away, and Adam Bartholomew steps to the guardrail, he doesn't move forwards in any significant amount. He just moves to the left to the guardrail. And so at first we were thinking maybe moving left changed his position, and so the thing on the roof moved behind the edge of the roof, and it was just him changing position, changed the angle, made it so you can't see it anymore. And right now he's kind of still moving. It hasn't stabilized yet. But clearly there's nothing there. And now he puts down his tripod and it stabilizes. And there's nothing there. There's clearly nothing there. It's gone. A little distortion kind of seems to happen there for a second. But that is definitely not the same. Not the same roof line as this thing right there. So I drove there to try to see what that was, right? And I see this thing up there. This gigantic R2-D2 looking thing. And I went up and got drone footage of it. If we're going to load our drone footage. And let's see, where do I get right down on top of the thing? It's right here. So, is my screen frozen on us again? So I'm going to put out all this footage for other people to analyze. If you want, download it and analyze it. But when I saw this thing on top of the roof, I could not help but feel like it looked brand new. It looked shiny, like visibly shiny. From standing down on the walkways far away from it, it just looked visibly like it had just been installed. And this is a close-up of it by drone. And I don't know how to know if it was just installed from looking at it. I have applied a little zoom in effect here for this clip. So this is how close the drone actually is. And then I did a little zoom in on it. But this is the item. And it is the metal wiring on it is lightning protection that gets strung up all around the roof. And it has little lightning rods on all the major things sticking up. And it is some sort of AC duct covering thing. But clearly, one thing we can tell from this is that it is not retractable. It's fixed and solid, and it can't go up and down and be moved and retracted and extended. So it shouldn't be disappearing from view, right? And as far as I can tell, whatever thing was up here clearly disappeared from view after the shooting took place. Or at least it appeared to. I wouldn't say that it's very conclusive evidence having such a grainy video from kind of far away like we have. I'd be curious I believe that Jason Goodman has the higher quality version of that video. I might try to get in touch with him and have him analyze the higher quality version to see if we're just like getting screwed over by low quality. But I am very suspicious of this rooftop. And part of why I'm suspicious of this rooftop is because there's not a lot of other locations where the shot could come from. The line of sight is there. The cover is there. I don't really know what the roof access looks like. I had thought that this item was the roof access, but this is just a giant like AC unit. So the roof access must be a trapdoor somewhere on this roof. I've seen there's trapdoors on other segments of the roof in other places. I just don't have like direct visual on where the trapdoor would be on this roof. But that is one line of sight. Another line of sight that I found, surprisingly, actually, is far, far away. Where is it that I went all the way back? Okay, this is the Sorensen Center. Here we are. So, when I was there on location and I was standing as close as I could get to where Charlie Kirk actually was when he was shot, I was standing down there underneath the flag. I was looking around at the rooftops to see, are there any rooftops I can see that we haven't analyzed yet? And I noticed, actually, that, yeah, there was a little piece of this brick rooftop way back here in the distance that I could see the top of this building thing, this little brick rectangular building out here. I could see it over the roof of the Sorensen Center, just barely. And that means that if I can see it, it can see me. So there is a line of sight from this brick building out here. This is me just checking to make sure I'm not going to crash my drone on some roof. This brick rectangular building, if you were on top of that, you would have a line of sight, I'm 90% sure, to where Charlie Kirk was at the time. Not saying that means there was a shooter up here, just means that this is one other potential location that investigators should think about. Chris Martinson was analyzing the Sorensen Center. I was pushing back, saying that it was too exposed and that students walking towards the event from above on the upper hills of the campus could see the rooftop of Sorensen. There is, however, there's a little nook right here on Sorensen. This little nook edge right here, you could theoretically hide next to this, and you'd have a clear line of sight. That being said, when you look at this nook everywhere it appears in all the footage that people have put out from cell phones and stuff, I've not seen anyone or any movement up by this nook, but that nook is there, worth noticing. And that's pretty much all that the drone is going to teach us about these rooftops. There's a lot of information about like roof access and what the rooftops look like. But pretty much in my mind, it's analysis of the main rooftops being this tall building over here to Charlie's right with the funky drain pipe that seems to disappear and reappear, this nook on the Sorensen Center, and then maybe this really far away little brick outpost that, is a possibility. But there's not a lot of options for where the shot could come from. And people are naturally confused and asking all kinds of questions. And those questions are naturally leading investigators to more and more complex theorizing. And kind of the main topic of tonight is going to be about why maybe all that theorizing is happening in the first place. And I don't know what it means. I don't know what to make of it. But I want to introduce you to Valhalla VFT. If you don't already know about Valhalla VFT, let me fix my screen capture again because it keeps on breaking. I don't know what the story is with it. Okay. Valhalla VFT, Nate. He's the man. He's ex-Green Beret, so he's ex-Special Forces. He's got lots of experience. He knows what he's talking about. He's not theorizing on all the political, who might have done it. He's just getting into the ballistics, the nature of the footage, what we can see and know for sure. And he's had a lot of great insights all throughout this process. If you're not following him already, highly recommend you click subscribe and you follow him. And just yesterday, he had on the Sticky Green Beret, who is an ex-combat medic, and they had a really interesting discussion that I want to let you know about. All right. And obviously, I don't agree with everything that Nate ever said about this case or about other things too. All I know about is this conversation that he's having with the Sticky Green Beret. And they talk a lot about the cavitation event. They talk a lot about Tyler and hiding the gun and the nature of the narrative and the story. And then where do they get into, here's where we're going. Okay.
That would not jump. No, because we're going to get into the treatment of Charlie.
Okay. So now we're talking about Charlie's bodyguards and the medical care that Charlie received on camera right after this gunshot wound. A lot of people were analyzing the hand signals and all of these very subjective things about the bodyguards, which, is perfectly suspicious if you want it to be, but it's also not really concrete and super provable in any given direction. So I'm of the mind to find things, to look at things that are 100% mean something or are at least could be investigated in a concrete way. And let's just listen to these guys for just a second and then we'll dive into this.
Kirk, after he was shot, man, this is so bizarre. But we have to cover it because this is something that's really not been talked about other than my buddy Dan, Heavy Duty Country. This is his video that he put out. And when I saw this, and Alex, I know I showed you this already, I was just immediately like, oh, this is sketchy. So we're going to watch that. We're going to watch that next, guys. Just watch their hands, right? All these guys are supposed to be treating Charlie Kirk. He just got shot in the throat, in the carotid. As we watch this.
So you're watching their hands, right? Watch the hands of the bodyguards and see if you can figure out what we're talking about here.
The center. We'll see in a second.
So we've seen the hands of the guy on the left and the guy on the right.
His hands there.
There's the guy in the middle.
No one has blood on them anywhere.
Did you hear that? Nate said no one has blood on them anywhere. And listen, I'm not trained to treat gunshot wounds. I have a fair bit of wilderness first responder training, certainly no training to deal with gunshot wounds, but you don't have to have a very high level of medical training to know that the first thing you do with a wound is apply pressure directly to the wound. And if that's a gunshot wound, particularly in the neck, particularly with any type of arterial bleeding, you're trying to pack that wound as tight and fast as humanly possible with direct pressure applied with both hands. And there's really no way around it. There is no other option, and there's no secret to it. There's no escaping it. You're going to get covered in blood. And if you are in any way a responsible first responder with a wound like this, you're immediately covering both your hands in blood. And there's no other way to treat that wound, period. And even a novice that sort of knew how to treat the wound would probably touch it in some form. But these guys should be experienced combat medics. They should be, I'm pretty sure they're ex-military in some form. They know how to treat a gunshot wound. And that involves putting your hands directly on the wound. And there's no blood on anyone's hands. And you can see that. We have instances of seeing all three of their hands.
Off. Very weird.
That is also weird. The handoff's very strange.
Excuse me.
But in particular, they look at this guy in the middle with the gray hair that's currently handing this thing off to the guy, because he's the one that's directly over Charlie Kirk's body. And that guy is the one that he was there first on the scene, like right over his body. He should be in the position to be applying two-handed direct pressure to the wound, which isn't going to do anything. Charlie's already dead. But that is how you apply first aid to this kind of a scenario, and you need to be applying that pressure continuously, hopefully starting CPR all the way to the hospital.
All right, so we've seen everyone's hands, everyone who's supposedly trying to stop the bleeding of this carotid artery gunshot wound. And
so it looks like they might be commenting on an idea posted again by even another channel. I recognize that guy's channel, but I'm not sure what it was.
on anyone. Alex, 18 Delta.
So it's particularly relevant that that Nate brought in the Sticky Green Beret here, because Sticky Green Beret is an ex-combat medic, right? So he's treated
What is the likelihood
hundreds of gunshot wounds.
someone is shot in the carotid artery and you go down to treat them that there is no blood on anyone?
Zero. Because the first thing you're going to do is apply pressure, and you're not just going to... I saw in the video, they're like, oh, maybe he's just... that guy, his one hand...
Oh, you guys can't hear the video at all? You should be able to hear some of the video. Let me pull this audio back in.
See, he's doing it, or... It's not a one-hand thing. You're not just going to kind of reach in there and be like, oh, yeah, I think I got it. You know, like, people would be grabbing towels, taking off shirts,
Yes.
whatever, in order to... to apply pressure to the neck, you know, like...
Why is our screen audio not pulling through for you?
For me, even they lift his arm and his own arm comes by, would be grabbing
18 Delta. There's no blood at all on anyone. Alex,
Very
18
strange.
Delta. What is the likelihood when someone is shot in the carotid artery and you go down to treat them that there is no blood on anyone?
Zero. Because the first thing you're going to do is apply pressure, and you're not just going to... I saw in the video, they're like, oh, maybe he's just... that guy, his one hand you don't see, he's doing it, or... It's not a one-hand thing. You're not just going to kind of reach in there and be like, oh, yeah, I think I got it. You know, like, people would be grabbing towels, taking off shirts,
Yes.
whatever, in order to apply pressure to the neck. You know, like, and for me, even they lift his arm and his own arm comes by him, and he just shot in the neck and fell forward out of the chair. I would imagine, you can't see it, but probably onto his front where his arms are, and there's no blood.
Nope. And I have a picture of that. Let's see if I can find it here.
Oh,
And
this
I have
is
a
where
picture
it
of-
gets really awkward. Before we get into this picture, can we briefly just appreciate Bro's mustache just for 1 second? Can we just appreciate the mustache? Okay. All right. Moment of appreciation for the mustache, and now we're back. So let's just remember that video evidence is primary source evidence. You can have the best theory in the world. You can have the most airtight theory in the world. But if it doesn't line up with what we actually saw happen, either the videos are fake, which is a whole other level of conspiracy theory, or your theory's wrong and it needs to fit with what we actually saw happen. And so, however uncomfortable the video evidence makes this case, it's still video evidence. And I don't know what to tell you about the video evidence and where we're at now, because the evidence being left behind by the videos and the photos of the scene are leaving us with some pretty awkward questions. Because what does it mean that the bodyguards had no blood on their hands? There's a couple different directions you could take that. You could theorize in lots of ways, and we will theorize it in a second here.
Of the scene, that exact spot where the chair fell over, where he is on the ground.
This is so frustrating. It keeps on killing it. Real quick, we'll restart that. And see if that gets you.
Again, I'm not claiming this is fake video or anything. I'm just saying, very bizarre that the people who should be trying to save this man's life obviously did not. It's either nefarious or massive incompetence, because like you said, someone would have had blood on their hands. I'm burying my hands in that artery to try to stop the blood, screaming at the guy next to me, take your shirt off so we can pound that in like they're.
Yeah, for reference, when you have an arterial bleed, you need to tourniquet them. Like, you need to tourniquet an artery bleed. And you can't tourniquet someone's neck, obviously, because you'll kill them. And so the only option to try to stop an arterial bleed is to try to somehow clamp the artery, which basically involves reaching in and just getting in there and finding it and grabbing it and pinching it closed, which is basically not possible, but maybe if you really got it and you know what you're doing. And so, like, usually it's just some sort of like trying to pack and pressurize as much as possible, as fast as possible, because like an arterial bleed will kill you in like a minute or two. And that's why you would normally tourniquet it. If it was an arm or a leg, you would just tourniquet it, because you can't seal off an artery quick enough. And so an artery in the neck, like, you're digging in there immediately to try to close that off.
There's gauze in there. Get pressure on that, and there's
100%. None of that going on.
But this is where it gets even.
And
weirder.
then you see this, which is the after.
This is crazy. Yeah.
And if we look at this,
that's right here. There's like no blood anywhere there.
Guys, there's a tiny little bit of blood on the table where he was sitting at. Right? We see that there. There's no blood on the grass. There's no blood anywhere. Like, Alex, with gunshot wounds, not even ones that aren't arterial. We're talking about an arterial gunshot wound. There's just no blood. He got shot.
I've seen more blood from someone losing half a foot. No joke. I've seen more blood from someone hitting a booby trap, losing half a foot. So
no.
So I'm purposefully playing these guys' video right now instead of just analyzing this myself, because this dude is like one of the best expert testimonies you could possibly get. Sticky Green Beret, a combat medic that has seen combat, that has treated gunshot wounds in all sorts of permutations with his own experience and stories to share about it. That is a very valuable expert opinion here. And what he's saying about the amount of blood you would get from arterial bleed like this is no joke. You would get a shitload of blood from an arterial bleed like this in the neck while they're trying to treat it there on the grass before they carry him out. And I mean, they theorize on this too, and it's obvious to start thinking about what video did Candace Owens see from that camera from the back, right? Because if somehow they were all over Charlie's body, ostensibly treating his wounds for a solid like 10, 20 seconds, and none of them got blood on their hands, and there doesn't appear to be that much blood on the scene behind there, like, There's no blood from if this was an entry wound in the front, there's no blood spray onto the back wall behind him. I don't really know what to make of any of that. I mean, it sort of obviously like starts to make you think about full conspiratorial, like it didn't even happen kind of conspiracies, which is a whole other level of questions to ask. And that's not what I'm necessarily implying. I'm just saying that the video evidence is the video evidence, and it's got to mean something. And we have to analyze the actual evidence. And it's like that, everything we just talked about starts to lead to a bunch of questions that I don't really know where they lead. I don't know what to do about it, but maybe the reason why everyone has so many questions is because this is extremely strange and extremely suspicious, and there's no way that we're talking about just a random lone gunman shooting a 30-06 at Charlie Kirk, hitting him in the neck, and then everything else that we saw after that, everything else around this case, the FBI releases, the weird evidence, the lack of blood, the bodyguards acting weird, the TPUSA not speaking and not sharing their footage, maybe all of that is all the normal, unfiltered response of normal people acting in good faith to try to solve the crime of the lone gunman that shot their friend. Yeah, that's not exactly what we're seeing. In fact, from TPUSA, we're distinctly not seeing that. We're seeing a whole lot of fundraising, a whole lot of rallying the kids to get on board with the cause and go get them. We're seeing, massive stadium events. We're seeing a ton of Israeli propaganda and Israeli censorship getting pushed, but we're not really seeing any of Turning Point USA calling for answers to all these very real and important questions, and we're not seeing them do anything about all the footage they have that would solve the case immediately. Right? You start to wonder about the reasons why they aren't releasing the footage from their cameras that were right there beside and behind Charlie Kirk. Maybe it doesn't have to do with just the entry-exit wound question. Maybe it has to do with all the other stuff that it caught wind of, that it saw behind the scenes there, that we're not supposed to see. I don't know what to make of it. I'm sure the squib theory people are having a field day with this intel. I'm sure that the people that are looking at Mrs. Kirk are having a field day with these theories. I am not making any claims about what this means. I'm just saying that this is the video and this is the evidence, and we can all see it in the video. And I don't know what to make of it. But real quick, let me take a couple of your guys' super chats before we move on to the next section of the conversation today. Let me find out where we were before. Susie asked if she'd marry me, and then I think Stuart, thanks for the super $20. You cracked me up. I too was bored and was happy to see you streaming. Let me see if our super chat window can pull up here. Obviously this thing has frozen again, and I have to flip it, and boom, there we are. Cool. Danker. Thanks for the super, Danker. Cameraman swings behind the tent towards the shot. That's true. The cameraman did swing behind the fence in kind of a funny way. VS, is anyone else the only one in their family who is paying attention / noticing? And is it driving you crazy? How do you cope without fam and friends? Thanks for everything, Ian. Victor, thanks for the Superman. I know how you feel as a dude that was raised in a leftist town with leftist friends, a leftist family. I know how you feel. And the way you cope is by starting to talk about it anyways and having genuine, open-hearted, open-minded discussions as best as you can, and just not getting adversarial with them so that they don't get adversarial with you, and just trying to just make it clear that you just, like, family is more important than anything, and having real conversations with your family is so important. And so just trying to find a way and making sure that they understand that your goal is just that you want to connect with your family. You don't want to feel like you can't talk to them. And so even when you disagree on something, it's important to you to talk with them about these ideas. And it doesn't mean that you think they're evil or anything. And hopefully they don't feel the same way about you. I would hope that some version of that strategy would work. Because for me, it was so important. And I finally got through to my family that, like, we're all going to keep talking and we're going to be open-minded and deal with it. Because I'm not going to deal with a family that doesn't talk about things. Hannah, thanks for the super. Yay, so glad I could catch a live stream. I'm a big old lefty, but I love your videos and we agree on most things. Keep up the great work. Keep getting the truth out there. F Israel. You're dang straight, Hannah. I appreciate you. Thanks for being a lefty in the stream, hanging out. I'm kind of still lefty on some of my opinions too. I've swayed way more right since I've gotten to know the right more honestly. But I think we all know at this point that the game is really just two wings of the same bird, and it's all rigged, and none of it is here for us, and they can all F themselves. Daytime Mystic, you are a true patriot. Thanks for the super, Daytime Mystic. I appreciate you. J524, hi from Hawaii. What lo-fi playlist is this? I don't know. I just searched YouTube for lo-fi no copyright, and that's what I got. Cool. I think that's all our supers for now. We're going to do more in a bit. It's not all the supers we have. We have lots more supers. We'll just get to the other ones in a little bit here. Let me pull up the next thing we're going to talk about here, because I just want to highlight a area of research that is coming to the front that we're going to dig way more into probably tomorrow or the next day or something like that. But just for clarification around the bodyguards and the blood and all that, what do we know for sure about the shooting at this point? We know that there's some serious problems with the shooter on the roof narrative that they are trying to push to us. We know that it's very unlikely that there was a gun on the roof. We have tons of questions about how the gun got there, where the gun is in all the photos, why they didn't show us video of the shooter taking the shot itself. What the hell was he carrying in the video after when he was running down and jumping off the roof? Because none of that looks like the gun. The photo of the gun that circulated isn't even the actual rifle. The photo of the gun that circulated is a other photo that the New York Post just pulled off the internet, because the gun itself is an old World War I relic that perfectly ties Tyler Robinson to the scene of the crime. We know that the wound itself, there's not a single expert online that is saying that wound matches a 30-06 at 140 yards. You get an exit wound, 140 yards, 30-06 to the neck. Basically, every ballistics expert is agreeing that would have an exit wound. There'd be blood splatter all over the back white wall behind Charlie. It'd be a totally different thing. And I'm no expert. I'm just listening to what the experts say, which is why I brought on expert testimony from Valhalla's channel today. So we got questions about what the wound is, whether it's an entry and exit, whether it's a smaller caliber. We don't know. That starts to make you wonder, is there a different shooting position? Should we be looking for a second shooter, or even for the actual shooter? Because we don't even really know if the guy on the roof that we were shown was a shooter at all, because they chose not to release the 3 seconds of video that they have that would have shown him taking the shot. Then beyond that, there's all this weird cover-up of like Tyler and his trans lover boy and his car being seen on CCTV footage at other stores like 15 minutes after the shooting and then a couple hours after the shooting. And the whole timeline is getting very confused and very fuzzy. And everything that the FBI has said to us has then been sort of refuted and walked back in little pieces and not at all. And it's just all very weird. It's all very weird. And meanwhile, we know without a doubt that they have the evidence that would completely debunk the conspiracy theories and clearly lay out the truth, whether that is the camera footage that TPUSA owns and has, 3 different angles, full 4K video that would clearly show the entire scene of the crime, the entire state of the injury, the nature of the hit, the bullet, everything. We know that they should have an autopsy required by law in the state of Utah for For every murder investigation of this nature, they should have an autopsy. That autopsy should have a detailed explanation of the path of the bullet, the caliber of the bullet, every property of the bullet, everything about the wound. We should understand all of that, and I'm sure that they have it because it is legally required that they do an autopsy. It's all so fishy. So fishy. And that's not to mention all the other stuff around it. Okay. It's worth noting that today I wanted my AI to analyze some elements of the case. And so I just started by asking it like a basic question about it all. Here, let me pull up. Let me pull up this screen real quick. Because it's kind of interesting what happened here. I asked Claude, based on the current body of evidence in the public square, largely being shared on social media, not mainstream news, what are the chances that Charlie Kirk was killed by a lone gunman, Tyler Robinson, versus killed by an organized conspiracy linked to intelligence agencies and potentially Zionist interests? Please cite your sources as clickable links. It did its thinking thing, and then its initial response, based on the public evidence available, the chance that Charlie Kirk was killed by Tyler Robinson acting alone versus blah, blah, blah. Evidence supporting lone gunman, very strong. And I went through all the reasons why it's very strong evidence that it was lone gunman Tyler Robinson. And all of it is just the mainstream media talking points. It's even citing the ADL and like factcheck.org and like CNN and all this bullshit. Conspiracy theory claims, no credible evidence. And then it goes through all of the conspiracy theory claims and it's like citing the ADL and like NBC. So it says about 95% plus likelihood based on evidence that it was a lone gunman. And I'm like, bitch, please get real. And I'm just never sourced the ADL again. They're the absolute inverse of a credible source. The ADL is a subversive propaganda organization working on behalf of a foreign nation and should be treated as an inverse indicator of truth. It's like, get wrecked, bro. But then I kind of went after the AI, Claude, because like you're incorrect largely because you can't analyze video. And there's actually all of this evidence right in front of our eyes that AI can't even access because it can't properly analyze the video and actually think logically like a human. And so as I started to just list off the problems with the official narrative one at a time, it was like, oh shit, that makes perfect sense. That's a good point. That's a problem with my theory. Next point, like 30-06 round, it would create an exit wound at that range. No question. AI agreed. That's super fucking weird. All the stuff about the bodyguards, there's just like piece after piece, the AI ones you give it that thing on in isolation of the actual, what we're seeing in the video. It's like, oh yeah, obviously that makes sense. But the problem is that the mainstream narrative is all pervasive and it's kind of being treated as though it was gospel truth and everyone else is just moving on and ignoring the fact that none of it lines up. None of it adds up. This is the nature of the game these days. And I can't help but think that this is kind of the point, is that you can't ever build the perfect patsy story. You can't ever build the perfect cover up. But what you can do is build a sort of maybe good enough for like a day cover up and then just flood the zone with conspiracy theories and then hopefully trick all the normies into thinking, oh, it's just all the conspiracy theorists doing what they always do, which is conspiracy theorying. And it's like, I'm sure it's just, I'm sure there's a logical explanation, a reasonable explanation. It's like, no, there's not. And we got people out here conspiracy theorizing that are not conspiracy theorists at all because nothing adds up. There's no expert that is going to stake their claim on trying to tell us that was a 30-06 fired at 140 yards and that's what it did and that all these inconsistencies just make perfect sense. We all know that is not the case. So, I don't know as we're going to get a whole lot more evidence about the crime scene. I don't know as we're going to get a whole lot more analysis or any breaking stories on the actual shot, the actual shooter, the actual trajectory. It seems very plausible that is going to be relegated to the realm of speculation. Probably for a while. Unless someone leaks some new footage or someone steals the TPUSA footage or something. I mean, I'm not saying anyone should break any laws or anything, but if anyone at TPUSA wanted to get a hold of that footage and just accidentally press the publish button. That would be awfully American of you to do. But now it's about 7 p.m. here. We've been going for about an hour. I want to tease the next thing we're going to be focusing on and looking at here for the next episode. And I want to hype up the researchers that are breaking this new story. And then we'll dive into a whole bunch of your super chats. And I'm going to try to read every single super chat tonight because my boy built me a super chat collector that grabs all the super chats from the stream, puts them all into one place where I can read them all one at a time and they won't get lost. So we're going to read all your super chats at the end. You can put them in now if you want, but we'll read them all at the end. Because now I want to bring up the Village Crazy Lady. Shout out to Mel, the Village Crazy Lady. And I'm going to make this thread big enough to see. So I first saw this reporting. I might have seen it on Mel's timeline first. There's a couple of them that are running this really impressive reporting on these FARA filings. Mel at Village Crazy Lady, but spelled wrong. So you got to make sure you spell it right. She's at the front of this reporting. She's a great account that dives into all kinds of stuff. As well as Gen X Girl has also been reporting on this. Mel is actually hosting a live on X tonight, I believe at 8:45 p.m. Eastern time. So that is like an hour and 45 minutes from now. And she's going to go over all of this with her co-host. And I think that once I give you the teaser on this information, you're going to want to know more. And so she's hosting actually a stream tonight that y'all can go and watch if you want to know more about this. But there's these FARA filings that one of their followers or someone found and brought to their attention, and they started digging into it. And there's all these screenshots from it that are super wild, but I want to just go to the actual filing, okay? And look at it. So, unfortunately, the link takes us to the general FARA website, which, again, my screen is breaking. I'm going to have to figure out what the hell is wrong with the frickin'... Okay. There we go. So, if you don't know how to use the FARA website, in her screenshot here, you can see the registrant and you can see the foreign principal. Israel Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Show Faith by Works, LLC. Registrant number 7653. So, we can search by active registrants and Show Faith by Works, LLC. Did I spell something wrong? Show Faith by Works, LLC. Oh, there's a comma. Bro, what? I literally just looked it up like an hour ago. Dude, that'd be crazy if it... Show faith by work. Plural. There we are. Okay. I don't know. Oh, it's because I applied two filters is what happened. Okay, so this is Show Faith by Works. All of their filings, they're all in 2025, which would indicate that Show Faith by Works LLC is probably new. And here you have it. We have all of these individual names of people. This is their registration statement in just last month of 2025. And then we've got Israel, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So this is a FARA document. Let me bring her over there. Okay. Normally, these FARA documents are super boring. Not this one. Not this one at all. So, the name of registrant, Show Faith by Works, LLC. The name of foreign principal is Israel, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We don't need the dictionary to tell us about Israel. Thank you very much. And normally it's just a couple quick pages without a lot of interesting shit, but this one is spicy. Describe fully the nature, method of performance or of the above indicated agreement or understanding. Christian outreach through various grassroots and digital targeting of Christians in the Western U.S. We will create a mobile museum to display at churches, Christian colleges, and Christian events. We will target and distribute pro-Israel information online and through targeted geofencing and digital online tools. We will have teams of people reaching out to churches and pastors and possibly even Christian social media influencers. Some of this is still undecided and fluid, but these are the outlets we have planned and proposed. Okay. There's so much here, and we're going to go through a ton of it. Please tell me that my screen did not already fucking freeze again. They need $1.5 million for staff. Okay. Total budget requested is $3.2 million. Additional options is hopefully another $835,000 if they could get it. That'd be great. Thanks, please, and thank you. And then here is where it gets real spicy. Okay. So they've got names. They've got lists of jobs. And right here, coordinate with top-tier Hollywood talent to book Christian celebrities and Christian athletes to deliver pro-Israel messaging. And use Hollywood connections to build a 5-star October 7th experience trailer. Where they're literally going to pull up an October 7th trailer outside of Christian churches and give VR experiences to people where they can VR relive October 7th from the perspective of a Jewish person. I'm sure they won't show you the Israeli helicopters raining down hellfire missiles on top of your head, though. Coordinate with Woody and the Israeli consulate and others to take existing content and compile it and add it to website and social media channels. So it's really hard to describe how many, and my freaking screen has frozen again. I'm going to lose my mind. So there's the whole document, this whole registration is just them open, because they have to say, this is the thing about FARA registration, is that when you do register under FARA, you have to give all these details. And the details are just over and over and over again about them targeting Christians with Jewish propaganda. The exact details about this mobile 10/7 exhibit and the generator they need and the screens they need and the advertising they need and the budget for travel and how they're going to target pastors. And it's like, there's a lot of pages in here, and it's got all the budget laid out, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's actually many millions of dollars. Their tables are a little broken, but here's where it gets really interesting. Let me see if I can make my screen work again for this. Okay. So here on whatever page this is, 23 out of 86, item, targeted geofencing. Right there. Description. Largest geofencing and targeted Christian digital campaign ever. Geofence the actual boundaries of every major church in California, Arizona, Nevada, and Colorado, and all Christian colleges during worship times. Track attendees and continue to target with ads. So, what that means is that Israel, the state of Israel, on this FARA registration is disclosing that a foreign state is paying for an influence campaign that will actively locate your cell phone if you go to church in any of California, Arizona, Nevada, and Colorado. They will target and track your phone at church. And then when you leave church, they will continue to track you and send you customized Israel ads using Israeli money to back that campaign. That's why we have FARA, is so that they have to disclose shit like this. Imagine how many other FARA forms were not filed because AIPAC is not registered, because most of the Israel lobby is not registered. Why is this one registered? I assume because the Americans involved didn't want to go to prison. And so they said, we need to do this by the books and register it. That's what I assume. I haven't looked into that yet. But that is just a handful of the spice that is in this document, because then they also have they have a list of all of the churches that they are targeting with this digital geofencing, meaning they put down a digital fence in their application around the church building, and any device, any cell phone that goes inside that geofence, they track that phone, and they track your data, and they track your movement and your activity. If you go to any of these churches, Scottsdale Bible Church, North Phoenix Baptist Church, Northwest Community Church, Palm Valley Community Church, Palmcroft Baptist Church, it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And they have this comprehensive list of all of the churches that they're going to target all across all these states, California, Texas, you name it. Then they have all the independent ones. They have analysis of how many people are at each church, how much conversion of payments from this budget into, targeted messaging. How much will it cost per message? And then they have all of these slides just exposing what they're trying to do. Activity: combat low American evangelical Christian approval of the nation of Israel. Use biblical arguments to highlight the importance of Israel and the Jewish people to Christians. Increase awareness of Palestinian ties to Hamas and support for terrorism within evangelical populations. Counter new and evolving pro-Palestinian messaging as the global narrative shifts. It makes you wonder, if you have to pay millions of dollars and register under FARA in order to propagandize the American people with this shit, it kind of makes you wonder if it's true, right? The other side doesn't have to pay anyone because it's the truth. But here we are with this complex propaganda campaign, specifically targeting Christians, targeting pastors, targeting professors. I don't even know what that means. Impressive physical displays of pro-Israel educational materials. Nice. So there's a lot more there. We'll go into all of that another day. But I just wanted to shout out Mel, the Village Crazy Lady, and Gen X Girl also has been super involved in this reporting. Definitely go and peep Gen X Girl's timeline. She just posted this incredible article that y'all should read called Israel's Coordinated Campaign to Propagandize Conservatives in America. And it is... What's so great about this article is it is a timeline of events, date by date, over the last couple of years, and that we all saw these little things happening in the fold, but she ties it all together of how that thing connects to this thing, and that law getting passed allowed for this to happen. And Pam Bondi on her first day gutted the entire task force, I guess, that is supposed to be dedicated to enforcing FARA violations. Just in time for Israel to push this massive, largely unregistered, campaign on American soil targeting Americans and largely Christians. So, huge shout out to Gen X Girl and to Mel, the Village Crazy Lady, anyone else working with them on these reports. Check them out. We're going to be diving way deeper into all of this this week. Maybe tomorrow. It might be in a couple days. The other thing that I've started to look into that's going to tie into all of those reports is I have a lot of questions about Turning Point USA. Questions about how Turning Point USA came to be. Because if you're not aware, Turning Point USA is a nonprofit, a 501c3. And if you know anything about churches, you would know that 501c3s are not legally allowed to engage in political speech or action at all. You actually lose your 501c3 status if you fund a candidate or support a candidate or endorse a candidate or any of that, technically. So how the fuck is Turning Point USA a 501c3 nonprofit that's not allowed to engage in political action when the entire thesis of Turning Point USA is political action, right? Well, when you look into answering that question, you discover that Turning Point USA is not a singular foundation. It's not just a 501c3 nonprofit. It's actually a whole towering network of complex, interwoven funds and foundations and nonprofits and LLCs and all sorts of different stuff that basically works like a money laundering scheme to shuffle money. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily illegal. I'm just saying that it works in similar ways where you can shuffle the money around between the different shell pieces of this organization so that this piece is doing political action, but not the 501c3. They would never endorse a candidate. They would just transfer all the money over to this piece of the organization that would then host a fundraiser for Carrie Lake or endorse, Donald Trump or JD Vance or do some fundraiser political thing there, whatever. And there's all these complex networks that is like basically an extremely professional tax avoidance structure, right? And I mean, you could say that that is wrong of them to do, but I don't really give a shit. What I am far more curious about is the fact that Turning Point USA was founded when Charlie Kirk was 18, going on 19. And it was founded with that tax structure already in place, is my understanding based upon the research I've done so far. So who the fuck knew how to set all that up? And who provided the first funding? And who picked Charlie Kirk after all? Right? Because TPUSA is the front face that we all see and think about, this messaging organization. But none of that happens without the donors and the funding and this tax structure, this nonprofit structure that allows them to take donations on the one end as a 501c3, but then also allows them to take political action on the other end. So I am currently doing a deep dive into how did that get set up? When did all of that structure get set up? Who might have been responsible for setting it up? Because very quickly, in my mind, it starts to look like Charlie Kirk was selected for a pre-organized plan. And they already had the concept prepped. And they already had the organizational structure prepped. And as soon as they meet Charlie, 1 month later, they found TPUSA, and already it's all set up for all this political wheeling and dealing. Now, I'm going to give you a wild guess. Who might be exceptionally good at tax avoidance structures of business like this? Right? Well, we'll go into all of that later this week in a more thorough breakdown. But let's just say that I started that research today, and it's spicy. And you better believe we know where that goes. So I think we're going to do a thing here where, no, we'll leave the super chats in the main show. So that's the end of our, our main show tonight. That's all of our primary topic. Now we're going to turn towards the chats and the supers, and I'm going to read through all of your supers. Hopefully every single one. We'll see how long it takes. This is a new experiment for us. And then we'll call it for the night. So let me, once again, refresh. I don't know what's wrong with my thingamajig. But okay. I think does that have us fresh? Cool. All right. Let's figure out where we are. Hi from Hawaii, J524. Thanks for that one. Diana Caswell, $50. Thank you for the big super. I appreciate the work you do. I appreciate the supers you send, Diana. I really appreciate that. Here, I actually need to resize this sucker because what I'm seeing is totally that way we can at least see where I'm reading. Okay. J524, Diana Caswell. Raise our eye view. God bless you, Ian. May the light shine through the darkness. Thank you, Raise Our Eye View. Appreciate you. Doggy. Professor Zhang is a CCP agitprop. Beware. I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but that was my first guess with his name. You always got to double check people, you know? And maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. I don't know. John Hanish. Hey, any plans for content for us local supporters? Yeah, you know, I got to do more content for the local supporters because the local supporters, honestly, they're the real OGs. Is my thing frozen again? This is going to drive me completely insane, guys. I don't know what to tell you about it. It might get down to the point where I just read them and don't put them on screen for you if it keeps on freezing like that. But yeah, the local supporters have had my back from day one. And I've never really, the problem with locals is that it's so removed from all the other content platforms that there's never really like, it was always so hard to justify taking like time out of what you're doing to make a whole fresh thing for the locals community when it's like that will directly impact your ability to make content for everybody. But now we're getting more into the live streams. Maybe there's a way to make something happen there. But either way, John, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate all the local supporters that are there, that are helping out. Y'all are the bomb. Ian, you are pretty legit, man. Meek DC9, thanks for the super. I'm not always 100% in agreement, but I feel like you truly mean what you say and are looking for the truth. You are correct. I certainly do not know everything, and I certainly get things wrong, and I have all sorts of biases, which I do not hide. But one thing's for sure is that I am just a dude. Like, I'm just a regular dude that is living my life. And actually, my very rapid rise into this position is part of the reason why I am just a regular dude. Because a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people that try to make it in social media, they have to claw and fight their way into this game. And they have to like work for years and years and years to build their platform. And that process very often comes with like scrabbling for money at any possible opportunity so that you can pay your bills and make ends meet. And often that initial climb into the career of social media of whatever form, often people wind up compromising their values and like taking brand deals and taking advertising deals and just taking money regardless of where it's coming from because they kind of need to. And because I blew up so fast, I've never had to take any money from anyone. And I've never taken any money from any kind of weird NGOs or like nonprofits or think tanks or even from any really brands. I've only done advertising for family and founder-owned brands so far. And so I'm totally my own actor. I have no affiliations. I can talk shit about anyone I want. No one puts me on air. No one can take me off air. So I'm just a guy, and I'm just honestly out here for the truth. And I learned early on that when you get too stuck on your own perspective and needing to figure out how to like prove that you're right at all costs, you wind up dying on the wrong hill. And so it's way more effective to actually not try to die on any hills and just make truth the mission. And just when you're wrong, just be like, whoops, my bad. I saw new stuff and now I have a different opinion. And this is what I think now. And this is why. Way better to do it that way. And way more fun. Way less stressful for me. Because if I'm constantly worried about getting called out for all my mistakes that I'm inevitably going to make, then I'm like constantly living in this half-truth like tension of like, what did I get wrong this time? Whereas if I'm looking for the truth, then when I get something wrong is actually the best thing because that's when I learn something new. So it's just more fun that way. Paige Malone, thank you from Texas. Love your work. Thanks for the super. Sydney Bertrand, totally random, but if you ever shave the stash, I will riot in the streets. Also, please give Gigi some love for me. Yeah, Gigi gets a little paw scratch. She's down here. She's actually kind of hungry right now. It's past her dinner time. So Sydney, I will give her some dinner for you. And don't worry, I don't plan to shave the mustache anytime soon. Susie Ashenden, thanks for the super from across the pond. You're right. I am super cool. And yes, you will want to marry me. Can I email you a little vid to say hi? What's your email address? Susie, yes, you can. It's, what is it? It's cancelthisclothingcompany@gmail.com. Wouldn't get your hopes up. Your boy is pretty picky. Supreme Steve, $20 super. Thank you, bro. You think it was some kind of remote controlled gun turret? Sounds kind of far-fetched, but who knows? Actually, calling it a gun turret might sound a little far-fetched, but actually remote controlled rifling is not far-fetched at all. It's very straightforward technology. That's the thing, is that advanced intel agency technology, all these options are on the table. They have all kinds of crazy advanced technology that we do and don't know about. And actually, if you wanted to do a high-level political assassination, a remote-controlled rifle would be a very logical potential explanations that, like, I'm not personally theorizing on, because, like, you could theorize on anything. But a lot of things are on the table, unfortunately, because it's there's a lot that is real. And yes, remote controlled rifles are real. So, German Condor, thanks for the super. Please interview Kurt Metzger for minimum 3 hours. Kurt Metzger is a ton of fun. I know that Kurt's a big fan of me. I'm a big fan of Kurt. That'd be a ton of fun. That would get wild. That's for sure. Kurt has no filter. He doesn't give a shit. Tara Rowland, $20 super. Thank you for the big super. I first saw you on Rogan. I've been watching your videos ever since. This whole Charlie Kirk thing is insane. Excited to see what you cover tonight. Stay safe, Ian. Thank you, Tara. I really appreciate you tuning in. Really appreciate the support. Yeah, my screen just this super screen keeps on freezing, so we'll fix it and make I don't know what's going on with it's something in my OBS. This is what happens. This is the other thing. It's about having me just be a random independent dude, is that, like, I don't have a team. I don't have a producer. I don't have a director. I don't have anyone that can help me fix my OBS when it breaks. And I don't know shit about OBS because I hate technology, but I'm doing my best. So you get a little bit of low quality in exchange for not being bought out and shilling Israel for you, or anything else for that matter. So Vincent, really appreciate this big super, Vincent. $50 super. You're the man. Vincent says, Brian Harple, Charlie's Change in Security 2022. Yeah. Taught Israeli Tactics. Was in two episodes. Return to Authenticity, episode 14, and Diversion to Power, season 4, episode 2. Both gone. I don't know what episodes or what show you're talking about. But Eric Sardina was Brian's protege and the host of RTA. Derek Bros of DTP hates Jesus, all deleted. That's a very complicated chat to read, but I know what you're talking about, Vincent. Charlie Turning Point apparently fired their old security team just a couple of years ago, and there's this new security team that has a lot of ties to Israel that is a little concerning. And there is a dig to be done there. I've done a little bit of it. I've seen other people do more. SD Chubbies, thanks for the super. Keep up the good work. God bless. Tommy Limberg. Grok thinks it's a random. Yeah, I don't trust the AIs on these complex ones at all. Monkey See, Monkey Do, thank you for the super. Can you look into the claims that Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell were working on a docu about child trafficking? Also, for all, please look up Penguin in Japan to see the greatest penguin ever. Thanks for that, Monkey See, Monkey Do. I have looked into the Chester Bennington conspiracy theories a little bit. And they are pretty wild. It's kind of hard to get to the bottom of whether or not Chester Bennington was working on this documentary or not. And I don't know. I do know he looks an awful lot like John Podesta. those are the kinds of stories that it's kind of hard to come back to after the fact, because they do so much scrubbing of the primary articles and sources that were on the web. And after the fact, you're left mostly with conspiracy theory kind of like sources about it, blogs and Twitter posts and stuff like that, that it's just hard to feel confident in. And it's hard to like stake my reputation on reporting about sourcing that is that kind of squiggly. So I'm not exactly the kind of guy that's necessarily ever going to get to the bottom of something like that, but there is definitely some meat on that bone to chew on. So KC, thanks for the super. Not getting notifications of your lives. Lame, YouTube. Hey, expect way more censorship to come. Like, just so you all know, I'm expecting some very heavy censorship coming to the internet. I'm expecting it. We already see it coming to TikTok. I'm expecting it to come to X, and I'm expecting it to come to YouTube. If that happens, it is very likely that I will start to change the way that I speak and the way that I report on things to say things without fully saying them. And it's very probable that I will start to do more stories about like safe topics still interesting, like all sorts of other topics that are interesting, but to keep, the lights on, the bills paid, and then probably putting all of the not allowed topics in one place that everyone can go to, so that the stream of content is still flowing and you guys can still access the truth about, the one topic we're not allowed to talk about somewhere. The Ida Hour, $2. Thank you for the super. Really appreciate it. Holly Wiley, have AI analyze the footage. It sees things we can. Actually, most AIs can't analyze videos. Some can, and I still wouldn't trust them the way I would trust a human eye. But the reason why Claude botched its response so dramatically is because it cannot analyze videos. So be very careful about trusting AI with anything to do with this kind of stuff, because AI is smart, but it's also so fucking dumb still. And you got to be double checking it. Have you considered John Cullen theory on drones? You should. I have certainly considered John Cullen's theory on drones, and I've certainly considered Jason Goodman's theories on drones, and it's so freaking interesting, and I kind of want to get Jason on here to chat about it a little bit, because there's some meat on that bone for sure. And Jason's theory about the drones being used for disrupting the feeds of people live streaming and videoing on the ground is so interesting, and there's actually like some circumstantial evidence to back it up, and we'll see if we can't get into that at some point here. So that was Miss Avi, and now Mila, and again it's just dying on me here. Nicole Alt, thanks for the big super. Ian, take a look at the footage of Tyler jumping off the roof. When he lands, frame by frame, his reflection does not follow his movements. The reflection ducks down while he is standing up. Interesting. I will look at that, Nicole. Good to know. There is a lot of funky stuff with that video. KC, sound is very low for that video. Thank you for the super. Hopefully we fix that for you. Shane Costello, sus as fuck their behavior. Why is he smiling? Yeah, the bodyguard smiling is pretty sus too. I didn't zero in on that just because it's a little more subjective, but it sure looks like it in my view. Clinton Grove, thank you for the huge $50 super. You know what doesn't need a line of sight? Drones. Multiple spotter drones could triangulate for main drone to fire blindly through tent. You're not wrong. Yeah. And there are all sorts of options that do not need line of sight to fire, whether that's thermal imaging, whether that's tracking radio signal like a lapel mic on his shirt, or anything else that could get a radio signal on him. There's all kinds of targeting systems that could target Charlie without a line of sight. And at this point, everything is kind of on the table. 467 Sprite, guy touching his glasses, review him meta glasses. Yeah, I saw that. Blake Bednar's was, I think, the one that brought that to everyone's attention first, that one of the bodyguards appears to have meta glasses, that he clearly does the click, record gesture while he's over Charlie Kirk, ostensibly treating his wounds. He clicks it much earlier in the day too, but that's either a photo or the record button if it's on video mode, and it's interesting. And they sure as hell look just like the Meta glasses. The gesture is exactly the same as the Meta glasses gesture, so I don't know what to make of it. Maddie, thanks for the super. Support from Canada. Please don't give up on this case. The world is watching and praying for you all investigating. Buy a nice treat for your doggo. I will. And don't worry, we won't give up on it. Even as I start reporting on other stories again more and splicing in other stuff, I'm still going to keep my eyes on this story forever. This is going to be our JFK, and it's every bit as significant, and it is a turning point in American politics, and it hopefully is the turning point that begins the decoupling from Israel. And as far as I can tell, it is. This is it's the shot that was heard around the world. It's the shot that no one can ignore, and that we all know what it was. And even if we never get concrete proof of what really happened, like, we don't know, but we know, in the words of our girl Candace. Harry Parrott, thanks for the super. The blood from wound was clotted, no spray. You know, that's not how clotting works, bro. Like, clotting, yes, but clotting is not like some immediate thing. Clotting takes minutes, usually. Hence why when you bleed, you don't immediately scab over. I mean, I'm no expert, but that's my understanding. In events with 3,000 people, I play, this is from Daytime Mystic again. Thanks for a second super here. An event with 3,000 people, I play shows that big, requires EMT. They carried him to a Suburban. Where was the EMTs? Yeah, where was the ambulance that was supposed to be on site? We don't know. Yeah, they carried him to a private vehicle and drove him to a small hospital. It was all very controlled. His body was given to J.D. Vance. Very weird. Stacy Massey, thanks for the huge $100 super. This is for the drinks you'll need if you read this whole chat. Thanks for seeking the truth. Yeah, I might need that later. We'll see. Neto Villarreal. Wow, I'm not even halfway through these supers, guys. We're going to need to take a break from the supers and come back to the supers again. Neto, thanks for the super. Did you saw the explosive mic videos? Yeah, I do not buy the explosive mic videos, and I don't think you should either. Simple math here. I did this on the last stream. We'll do it on this stream again. This is the microphone. This is a DJI one. Mine has the little floofer on top. You take that off. This is the mic. It has the clip like this that alligator clips onto things like this. They always are very floppy, and they always move like it does in that video where it kind of appears to disappear behind a shirt flap because it wants to flop around a lot. But his was attached by the magnet through the shirt, which is even more obvious that if this was exploding, it wouldn't stay on his shirt after the explosion. It would be exploded, right? Not to mention that the magnet holding it on from the other side would be flown a million places. It would be gone, right? The mic is obviously, if you go frame by frame, the mic, I guess because we're mirroring the image here, it would be like this. The mic is here. The bullet hole appears right here. In the frames, you can see first and then this goes all crazy as the bullet hole thing is appearing over here. But then this comes back and is still visible right there. The mic is still on his shirt after the explosion. And the hole appears over here, not right on this side. And this, you would see an explosion. Like, guys, let's not let our brains just turn to mush. Have you ever seen an explosion before? Now go look at the video. Do you see an explosion? Explosions cause burns. They cause singeing of shirts. They cause holes in things, right? So let's be clear. I'm down with people coming up with theories, but like the microphone did not explode. And the microphone also did not have a projectile in it because at least none that followed the laws of physics. And this is very basic and straightforward. But if you have a bullet inside of this device and you fire the bullet out of this device in this direction, pew! The laws of physics say that for every force, there's an equal and opposite force, right? And so when a bullet fires out of this end, you'll get a force of equal force in this direction. And that's why when you shoot a gun, you feel this intense recoil. And so this little tiny microphone would fly in the other direction if it shot a bullet out of it. Or it would need to be hooked onto something with enough staying power to hold that recoil, right? Like, just basic science. So, be careful out there because there are clearly theories being fed into the narrative to confuse everyone, to confuse everything, and to make it look like all of the theories are dumb and none of it's worth your time. And it's just trust the FBI. That's called flooding the zone, and it's a very well-known tactic that they are obviously using. I lost my place here. There we are. Tom Lindbergh. Thanks for the super. Did you have a chance to look at the fountain courtyard behind Charlie? If reports about C2 to C6 vertebrae being destroyed are true, then that seems more like an exit wound as a former EMT. Yes, I did. And the problem with the fountain courtyard behind Charlie is there's no line of sight. And the awning that was right behind Charlie's head, so like he was sitting on the ground in front of a tunnel. Let's reset my screen here because apparently my screen is just losing its mind. And let me go to here in the footage where is everything broken? Is everything broken? Let me find a good view of this courtyard. Okay, so this is day 2. Okay, right there. So what this super chatter, this is the problem with super chats, is that I always get way too into what I'm talking about and I can never give a short answer. So Charlie was set up right here in the front on this concrete directly underneath the American flag here, just to the side of where these plants are. Any shot coming from directly behind has to pass entirely underneath this awning, or has to be from like directly down on top of it where there were people during the thing. So it has to come from all the way back behind. So there's a super limited down angle that can happen. So it's basically being fired straight underneath this awning at him. Can't be from like an elevated position at all. And it's going through the back of the tent with no line of sight. So you would need some sort of thermal or other targeting system that can see through the tent. And you would have to be at a shooting position that is low enough to shoot under that awning at him. And so this becomes your view, right? It would basically have to be someone on ground level way back here in this zone. And the thing about this whole, let me zoom us in here. The thing about this whole zone is that it was all open to the public and people walk all around out here. There's all footpaths. There is nowhere to hide back there. So in response to your very wise and logical question, there's not really anywhere for the shot to come from that has any logical explanation if it came from behind him directly underneath that overpass, which is why so many of us are looking at this side angle over here for potential shooting locations, because that seems like a relatively likely spot. The other location is maybe the opposite angle, which would be sort of Charlie's front left, like kind of the Sorensen Center roof. All theories are basically pointing to my screen being frozen again. Yeah, let's go. Let's go, buddy. Let's get it on. Okay. So all theories are basically pointing to either a shot coming from Charlie's left over here, or possibly from his right over here, or even further back on the brick roof that I was showing you. I mean, you could try to make the argument for the low C center, but I think we're pretty clear that that is not likely at this point. So that's that story. Let's see if I've lost track of the supers completely by now. Cool. So that was Tom Lindbergh's super. Thanks for that, bro. I appreciate it. And I like, Tom, how you're thinking about which vertebrae were destroyed and what that means about the exit entry wound conversation, etc. The Ida Hour. Thanks for the super. You've inspired my podcast / life greatly. Thank you. Thank you, Ida. I'm glad you're inspired. I I mean, I think more people speaking is great. More people utilizing the online resources and everything. This is so empowering, and anyone can do so much with just your phone, a computer, and a camera. It's like, I am just a dude. I was a short order cook and like a running guide, and then an Uber Eats driver during COVID, just trying to like make a difference out here. And now here we are making a difference. Let me see if I can't bring the light a little more in the front here. It got dark outside and we darkened up real quick in here. Maybe actually what I'll do is maybe I'll brighten us up real quick by turning on the light back here. Hey. Okay. I see someone in the normal chat saying camera gun. There's all kinds of theories about this gun, and I don't know what to make of any of it. MJ Lovies. What if, spitballing here, there was a hit on him from whomever? Sorry, things are scrolling around. And this was all orchestrated to basically save his life. That's why FBI shut down. So there is like a Q style conspiracy here that is really fun to follow along with, that I don't think is very likely, but it's like good, heartwarming white pill to just like kind of fantasize on if you want to, of like, yes, what if they knew that there was a hit coming from Israel or he was in danger or whatever, and so they needed to get him off the playing field and into witness protection and simultaneously make him a martyr and like this giant Christian uprising, and he's not really dead. He's like in Valhalla on some secret island where he's perfectly safe and he never actually died, and it was all fake. I mean, before this whole thing with the bodyguards and the blood not on their hands, before that, I was at like 0.5% on that theory. Now looking at the bodyguard's hands, I don't really know what to make of it. I still keep it as a pretty low likelihood just because of the sheer complexity of something like that. And Charlie would never be able to come back if he was alive and in like some secret wit pro. They wouldn't be able to admit that level of deception. They would have to actually gone him, and he would only be able to come back if he like got serious plastic surgery or something. It's like, that is some serious tinfoil right there. But it's not out of the question. I mean, I can't explain the lack of blood on the bodyguard's hands unless they were completely not treating him and actively trying to avoid touching him, and then just carried him off. Like, I don't know what to make of it. The bodyguards are looking very suspicious right now. Jezagaya, how much blood would there be if the heart was destroyed by the bullet immediately, as we were told? I mean, I don't know how to say, because theoretically the heart would have been destroyed by the bullet internally, and all that bleeding would be internal, not external. So, in theory, there would probably still be the same amount of blood because it would all just be from that one exit wound. And if the heart isn't pumping, you're actually going to get a lot less blood flowing out of an arterial bleed than if the heart is pumping. And I don't know if, suppose that just the spine damage happened and just the corticate posturing happens like this, but the heart doesn't get exploded by the bullet ricocheting. I don't know if that would be enough to cause the heart to stop beating and thereby stop pumping blood to that arterial bleed or not. I'm not sure. But, the heart being destroyed isn't going to necessarily affect that. Thistle, thank you for the super chat. Just thinking, no blood and Erica giddy with happiness. Sus. Yeah, I'm not going to go after Erica in public at all. But a lot of people are talking about how her like 2-day recovery period is pretty weirdly short and pretty suspicious. And I don't know what to make of it. Miss Avi, my family doesn't seem to like me. I used to give a fuck. Now I just don't. That solved my crisis. I mean, maybe make your own family. Liquid Ducks. I like your name. Liquid Ducks. Great super. Thank you for the super. I'm a retired radio frequency communications consultant for the government, federal, state, county, local, worked with public safety and several years in the military as a signal soldier. That doesn't seem like it's your whole super, but I don't know how I could see if it is your whole super. Liquid Ducks. I don't know what to make of that. Maybe if I look in here. I don't know how I'd find it in there either. This is madness. Who knows? Oh, hey, Ian sent me a super. Legit. Thanks, Ian. I wonder if that's like my homie in my account or if that's some other Ian. Brooks, thanks for the super. Hey, Ian, this is the Israeli shill is back. Got another 7,000 shekels to spend today. Nice. Let's go, bro. Hook it up. If you guys are spitting Israeli propaganda and you're getting shekels for it, feel free to drop a super and share that love around. Secondhand shekels, I have no objection to secondhand shekels. Ashley Gray, thanks for the big super. Ian, just for the record, you are my hero. Thank you for everything you do. If you are in Arkansas, I will feed you, house you. You always have a loyal friend here. My question, why has no one heard from Charlie's immediate family members? Thank you. I've got other homies in Arkansas too. Beautiful state. I actually just visited briefly on my drive over here. And it was actually surprisingly beautiful. I visited Fayetteville just briefly. As to your question, why has no one heard from Charlie's immediate family members? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't have context. I don't really have context on his family because I was not a Charlie Kirk fan in life. And so, well, I'll look into it. I'm kind of curious. They weren't at his memorial service, right? Thanks, Ashley. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you're inspired too. Tom Gerber, thank you for the big super. Thank you for your excellent work. I'm happy to be part of the woke right. Let's go woke right. Hell yeah. We're woke as hell. Not my name. Thanks for the super. Keep up the good work. Appreciate you. Hey, you. Thanks for another super. I remember your name. Ian, did you see Frank Turek's interview with the homicide detective? Frank claims they tried to stop the blood. Frank also contradicts an earlier video where he said the shot sounded close. Now he says it sounded far away. I did see all of that. And Frank Turek is like, from everything that I can find, Frank Turek is like allegedly was like a father figure to Charlie. That's how he described his own relationship to Charlie. Sounds like they were very, very close personally. Frank is not Jewish and he's not Israeli. And I just say that to be like, Frank should be straight shooting. Frank should be fucking straight shooting. And the only reason why Frank wouldn't be straight shooting is if there's some serious deception going on here. And I don't know what to make of it because you're right. He said that they tried to stop the blood. I remember that. And he also described the car ride to the hospital where one door was open and he almost fell out and all this stuff. So I don't know. Paul Kardash, thank you for the super. Watch the stream from last night, this morning. Several good points about Israeli involvement with the media. Any autopsy we get is probably doctored. I agree. They always control the coroners. BRSN, love your work, Ian. Lots of support from Rachel and Barry from Meth. From Meth? From Methau? From Methadol? From Meth. Well, I appreciate you, Rachel and Barry from Meth. Horrormom.com. Thank you. God bless you, Ian. I get so excited when I see you've gone live. I've learned so much from you, and I think you have a great perspective on how to intake information. Thank you. Thank you. I try. I try not to assume too many things. I try to keep my mind open. It is what it is. Lily Leva. You know, I just keep wanting it to work. I just want it to work. It's just so good that I just want it to work. Display capture. It works for a second and then it just dies for some reason. Lily Leva, sorry, I'm poor. Oh, don't worry, bro. We're all a little poor sometimes. So they do really think we are stupid. I don't even know how to feel about it. I do know we need to come together or we will be lost. God bless you. Appreciate you. God bless you too. And if you're poor, you don't have to give supers, yo. You know, there's free ways to support, like liking the stream, sharing the stream, subscribing, stuff like that. That's all free. But I appreciate you sharing and helping it out. Joe, thank you for the super. Disappointed you're not a Garmin guy, but appreciate all your work, Ian. Keep going. I think more people are waking up because of guys like you. How about a pod with Daryl Cooper soon? A pod with Daryl Cooper would be really cool. I don't know if Daryl is my biggest fan. He's like he's he's a far more intelligent and intellectual and precise guy than me. And it's possible that he thinks that I'm a little rash and reckless. I don't know. But I am a big fan of Daryl, and I would gladly talk to him. I would learn a ton from him. And fuck Garmin. Realistically, F them. Coros for life. Coros for life, dog. My watch lasts 4 times as long as you, and it costs half as much as yours, and it's the shit. I don't need my watch to like link to my Bluetooth hot tub with like my speaker and my phone and my fucking every app in the world. I don't need to watch videos on my watch. Caitlin RR from New Zealand. Thanks for $20. Even when you see them carrying Charlie to the SUV and you can see his arm hanging down and you can see a bit of his t-shirt sleeve there too, both are completely clean of blood. Super weird. And it's a white t-shirt, by the way. Yes, I agree. Kyle, just remember Ian is happy and has too much to live for. He would never do anything to himself, if you know what I mean. Stay safe, brother. Sending love from Australia. You're damn straight. I am not suicidal. I am never going to be suicidal. I am perfectly happy with my life. And when I was a much younger human, I dealt with my like young 20s depression, and I know what depression feels like, and I know what all that is like, and I am doing just fine. And there's no force on this planet that could ever make me feel otherwise. There's no force on this planet that would ever make me consider taking my own life. And there will never be a headline of Ian Carroll takes his own life. That would be a very clear indicator that something else has happened. That being said, I'm not fearful that like someone's going to try to assassinate me. I'm just not. The game is not like that. I'm not that kind of journalist, and I'm not worried for that. Brooks, you're getting away from here. Ian, did you get your direct deposit today? I got $14K instead of the usual $7K. You should check your account. I mean, I didn't get that direct deposit. They can go fuck themselves. Jim Kerr, what's up, Ian? Read the rifle had unspent casings in it. Also read it can be disassembled while loaded. Interesting. Yeah. Apparently this bolt action rifle can be disassembled while keeping a one in the chamber, which is not a thing. Yeah, the whole rifle situation is wonderful. And they were engraved casings, by the way. Great stream. Facts. Thanks, Shortcoin. I appreciate you. Tommy Lindbergh, another one. Grok analyzed the official evidence and said 97% Tyler, 3% chance Israel was involved. I told it what we actually know. It says 52% chance Israel. I say get fucked, Grok. You don't know shit. AI is good for analyzing hard facts and data, not a lot else. Vinyl Idol. You should get whistleblower Anthony Aguilar on. He's a Green Beret with firsthand experience of an individual. Yes, I've actually met Anthony Aguilar in person, and he's made all the tours. There's a lot of other people that I would rather get on first because his story is kind of like that one story, and he has told it quite a bit. And I think it's important to use our time to kind of like push into new information. We all know that Israel is killing kids. That's for damn sure. Keep boycotting Israel. Now, listen, I would never suggest that you should boycott the nation which shall not be boycotted. That might even be a crime. And I would never suggest that you would commit a crime. But if you wanted to boycott Israel, that would probably be a pretty damn effective thing to do. And you know it would be a pretty effective thing to do because they're so concerned with it. They're passing laws in your country, the United States, that are forcing you, they're taking away your right to spend your money how you want to on behalf of a foreign nation. That's how important it is to them that you don't boycott Israel. So, just saying. Nightem, thank you for the super. Things will make more sense if you combine Project Bluebeam tech with Charlie's Red Rum. They can kidnap and keep the targets underground and give them amnesia. You know, at this point, who knows what's on and off the table. But your super is $6.66. So I don't trust a fucking word you say, Nitem. We're on to you, bro. Brooks, me and Ian are feds, people. We don't care. Time-traveling philanthropist. Ian, please feature Jimmy Dore or Kurt Metzer as guests in the future. Would love to hear you and Kurt talk about Monarch, Artichoke, Cedar Sycamore. Yeah, Jimmy and Kurt are both dope. I've spoken to them on Jimmy's platform before. I never really bring people onto my platform because I don't have a team, so it's very complicated logistics to deal with all that. I mean, you can see how many technical difficulties I'm having here just trying to wrangle a chat box, let alone bringing in other people's cameras across the internet and all this shit. So we'll do it someday, but no rush. Kyle, people need to understand what's going on in the West Bank. The settlers are straight up spawns of Satan. Yeah, the settlers in the West Bank are super dark. And I think a lot of people don't realize just what that means. If you are a Jewish American today, you can fly to Israel and they will give you a house, a Palestinian's house in Palestinian territory that is an expansion of the edge of a Jewish settlement that is illegal. And they will help you move in there, and they will subsidize your living costs, and they will subsidize your whole community, and they will help you take a Palestinian home. If you're an American Jew or a Namibian Jew or an Australian, well, they probably don't want the Namibian Jews, honestly. You Namibians could probably get wrecked. But an American Jew, they'll take you. An Australian Jew, a European Jew, you can just move right in and take someone's house. And honestly, if you don't take it, someone else is going to take it, right? So you better take it, because if I don't take it, someone else will steal it. If you guys don't know the funny video, the tragic funny video. So, Bliss, thanks for the super. I'm a Gen Z Christian. They can drop all the money they want, but I know way too much now to ever trust Bibi and his government. Bibi Files was an eye-opener. I recommend it to everyone seeing this. I agree. The Bibi Files is a documentary that they paid a lot of money and a lot of influence points to get it taken off of Amazon and every other streaming service. But if you go to archive.org and search for the Bibi Files, you can find it for free. Or you can go to the official website of the producers and you can pay them for it, which is, I do recommend, support their work. Brooks, I have 14,000 shekels to spend today, baby. Cool. Keep on giving them to me. Wes Mooring, thank you for the super. John Hanish, can you share your streaming/screen sharing setup? I will sponsor your computer guy for 20 hours to get your setup unfucked. There is no computer guy, bro. It's literally me and my dog driving around to different Airbnbs, just doing our best. And it's a laptop with a second screen with sometimes a TV that I can streamcast to, and OBS and a couple cameras and mics, and just making it work. But I appreciate the offer, and I do have people that I can contact to help support me figuring these things out. So that is that. But it is what it is. Deal with it. It's something in OBS. Like right now, I'm just going to do reset capture right now, and it resets the capture, and now we're back. So thanks, John. I appreciate you. Paranoid Optimist, thanks for the super. Ian, you're utterly amazing. Dare I say the only honest voice that can still be trusted. Not the only one. Be safe. How deep do you think Erica is on this? P.S. How long has it been legal for foreign countries to lobby in D.C.? It's been legal for foreign countries to lobby in D.C. for a long time, in my understanding. They just have to be registered under FARA, except for Israel. How deep is Eric in on this? I don't know, and I'm not going to speculate online. And I'm not the only one that can be trusted. Listen, one thing that I do is I've got an interesting perspective on the industry, because I'm like a dude that got plucked off the street and just had good success fast enough that I got to meet all of these like celebrities and like all the podcasters and hosts and influencers and streamers and everything from a relatively like naive mindset. And some of them are not all they're cracked up to be. Some of them are shitheads or are kind of purchased and bought out. But a lot of them are not. A lot of them are actually totally legit people. And a lot of them are genuinely just sharing their ideas and trying to make things work and trying to, pay their bills. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of people out here that we can trust, as far as I can tell. So, Brooks, love you, bro. Never stop. Wait, TPUSA is a 501c3. What the fuck? Yeah, for real. Heather Kirk, $2 from Heather Kirk. Thanks, Heather Kirk. That's an interesting name. I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Kyle, what is the economy of life? How many Arab lives are worth one Israeli life? If you're serious, Kyle, let me spell it out for you. 1 for 1. Every life is a human life, and every life is equal in the eyes of God. And in the eyes of just basic logic, right? And so it's a 1-to-1, right? Even if that Israeli life is a murderer, terrorist, liar that's been killing babies and children in Gaza for the last 2 years, even if that Israeli life has been doing those things, it's still mostly a 1-to-1 if we're being really good-hearted. Might be a bit of a stretch to keep that parity. But I don't know if you're serious or not, but I just figured I would get real clear about that. Michael, thanks for the super. 3333, sketchy number. Snake Eyes movie, 1998. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Sounds funny though. We frozen again. The PBD podcast Charlie was on, stating the genocide of Gazans by Israel got him killed, I believe. You know, I am not of the mind to believe that that is what got him killed, but it was very spicy. That's for sure. I think what got him killed is a combination of him being so pro free speech and pro Tucker Carlson and pro Candace Owens coming back to TPUSA, paired with him actively shutting down the war with Iran idea and actively speaking up against President Trump, and getting him to not go to further war with Iran, because boy, are we supposed to be at war with Iran right now. Tennessee Girl in Georgia, thanks for the big super. Am I the only one that thinks that geofencing could also be used for more nefarious purposes? Oh yeah, you're right, it could. It is super sketchy, and we are going to dig deep into that, and I'm probably going to produce more produced videos that are more organized so I can like hit people in the face with how important that is, because that is huge. That like a foreign nation is allowed to fund a targeted advertising campaign at Christians about Israel in that manner, tracking their phones, tracking their movement, tracking all of their shit. Yeah, I ain't going to church in California anytime soon, that's for sure. Ian, did you see fuck Pfizer? Good name. Ian, did you see the streamer Destiny's live stream reaction and phone call from when Charlie got shot? Super sketch, and I've seen no coverage of it. No, because Destiny's a piece of shit, and I've never watched any of his live streams, and I have no desire to. But it sounds like you're talking about something more nefarious. I know that he was like talking about how it was a good thing that Charlie got shot. I don't know what you're talking about, this phone call, but I don't think he's all that important. Oh, did we just lose our camera? Oh, bro. How did we lose our camera? Maybe it overheated on us? Maybe it lost battery? What's cracking? We got battery, so maybe we overheated. Oh boy, we got all kinds of problems on this here live stream here. Yeah, there we go. Now we're back. So I unplugged it, so maybe it won't overheat, but maybe it will. Who knows? I don't know. But we're just chilling with the super chats, and I'm just chilling. And it's getting late, but you know what? I made the goal of going through all the super chats, and so we're gonna try. Now I understand why Nick Fuentes is always in his chair, just like, oh my God, so many fucking supers. Let's get this over with. But y'all are fun. Y'all leave fun supers. I need to scroll back down to find where we were. Geofencing, fuck Pfizer. Yes. Wes Mooring, Tyler checks are fake. He implies that his dad and grandpa recognize the gun, but that's not his gun. I know, right? Tyler checks are definitely fake. And there's some serious questions about whether his dad actually turned him in or not, and what's really going on there. Thistle, questioning nonprofits should be a regular practice. Love to see it, Ian. You're awesome. Yeah, nonprofits, venture philanthropy. It's a whole complex rabbit hole. Joe, also here's to hoping the warrants for GameStop set something off. Hell yeah, GME still holding. I'm actually, I've got some interesting developments in my life on the GME front here in the next couple of days that I am hyped on. Olga Tronic, thanks for the big super with no message. Appreciate you. Kevin sending love from Western Massachusetts. Appreciate all you do, bro. All this evil and rabbit holes just points me right to Jesus being legit. Wild times. It's true, dude. All these rabbit holes have pointed me towards Christianity too. And I don't think I'm ever going to wind up at a Christianity that is like a churchly Christianity. I don't think I'm ever going to be the type of Christian that most Christians are down with. But like this shit woke me up in a big way over the last 2 years as well. Brooks, Israel, I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I don't care. It was Israel. Hey, bro, you know me. I ain't afraid to have that same thought process. Linda Lindsay, where are his parents and his sister? What's their statement? You're damn straight. Thanks for the big super, Linda. Monica J. Conway, thanks for the super. What the hell is this? Haley S.J. What? What? Hey, Ian, watching you live from Korea. I think you're doing amazing work. Please keep it safe. Thanks for whatever currency that is. What is South Korean currency called? The won. Yeah, the South Korean won. Thanks for all that won, homie. I appreciate you, Haley. Do all things... I am so confused right now by these numbers. Sorry, guys, I'm getting confused over here. Our shit is frozen again, and I want you guys to have visual here. It's fun. Okay. There is no bigger U.S. welfare recipient than is not real. That's not conservative values. You're damn straight it's not. Jay Dirt, once you see, you can't unsee. Truth is the light. You're right. All countries work to influence public's POV. Yes. Yep. Mary Wolf, what do you think of all the right-wing influencers like Tatum, Harris, Emily Save, etc. on their public hate towards Candace? You think they're paid? Oh, we know they're paid. Yeah, we know that a lot of those influencers are going to these secret meetings, are getting the funding from Israel, are getting the memos from Israel. They're going on the propaganda tours. That's part of what we're going to dig into over this week is specifically what influencers are paid. And I shouted out Mel, Village Crazy Lady, and Gen X Girl. Gen X Girl has been doing a bunch of digging into these influencer meetings and who is paid. And yeah, don't trust a single fucking one of them. Yeah, absolutely. Emily's not saving anything except for her bank account. And I'm going to try not to make any personal attacks on them right now. Dawn Dussault, thanks for the big super. I would love to chat with you about the shooting. I'm a veteran infantry officer and hunter who owns firearms, and I have done several videos on this tragic event. I appreciate you. God bless. Appreciate you too. YVM, learned that the alleged gun cannot be disassembled without removing the cartridges. Another red flag. Yes, correct. Although to be clear, we do not have a photo of the gun because the photo that is in the public square is not the real gun. That is a photo that like the New York Post just like grabbed off the internet. You can tell because it's a plastic composite stock of that gun, and it's a World War I like relic. It would have been made of wood. Clearly, that photo is not the real gun. Mame 97, thanks for the super. Jane L Fields 2. The left can follow the right-wing blueprint because they don't hide how they've put their structure in place. I don't know what you mean, but I appreciate the super. Misty Schmitz, watch Frank Turek's interview with MK again. His info recalling the event is so sus to him in TP. You see the lies with his own words. Yeah, I'm starting to not trust anyone anywhere around this whole thing, friend or foe. And so I'm starting to go back over everything with a fine-tooth comb with my eyes wide open. Just nothing's making sense. D. Anderson, thanks for the super. Did you ever see my tagged post or message regarding the third-story door of Gateway building? I have proof it was propped open before the shot, then closed afterwards. Proof, you say? Proof? Like, excuse me? Proof? Like, you mean proof like of this door right over here being propped open? I would like to see that proof. Absolutely. Because that is, I assume you mean this door up here? Because I would be very interested in that. That being said, it would not line up with the ballistics of the wound at all. In fact, I would actually maybe argue that it's impossible that the shot came from that angle. But if you have proof that this door or another door, maybe I'm getting the building you're talking about wrong, but if you have proof that that door was propped open during the thing, I would like to see that proof because that's very curious. Just saying, that's legit. 1999 WS9, thanks for the super. Through the Looking Glass with Rayanne. Being here since Shampoo. What's up, Shampoo? Love your work and honesty. You're amazing, Ian. I started homeschooling last month, and it's been amazing. Congrats on homeschooling. Nice work. You're the best. And actually, we are going to be returning back to the Shampoo era in just a moment here. Buyer app is almost done. We are launching Buyer app like within a week or two here. Maybe 3 at the very most, probably. And I'm actually going to start working on more content along the Buyer app route. And we're going to do this whole deep dive into all the ways that they're poisoning our women, poisoning your reproductive systems, poisoning your, really your reproductive system through all, because your endocrine system is tied into that as well. And through all sorts of products, whether it's tampons or deodorant or shampoo or lotions or makeup, all these things. We're going to do a whole deep dive on all these products that they're poisoning women with and how you can fix that in your own life and how you can find products that are better for you. And I am so stoked on that. Buyer app is going to be the shit. Katie Miller, curious if you noticed that numerous elites, including Trump and Ackman, referred to Charlie as a giant. I found it strange. Thoughts? Yeah. I mean, it's not an unusual word to use. I don't think he's actually like the Nephilim. But I've been paying close attention to how everybody has been talking about our boy Charlie. Music by Glenn Kirchner. Thanks for the huge $100 super. Thanks for the honesty. Stay safe. You're welcome for the honesty. Big supers like that make it really easy to stay honest because I don't answer to anyone except for you guys and God. I don't even answer to you guys, honestly. I just answer to God. So, Albert Quesada. God bless, brother. Keep up the good work. I learned a lot from you, sir. Quesada, I got a soft spot on my name for Quesada. One of my goodest homies growing up had that name. I appreciate you, Albert. Our shit is frozen again. Let me just get you back up there. Okay. Brandon Quijada. Seems a little sus that the judge for the Charlie Kirk case only been a judge since 5/25, don't you think? Thanks for all you do. We love your content. Yes, it is a little sus. There's a whole bunch of first-timers out here in every direction, and it's very weird. Tandy Lion. You are one good-looking dude, Ian Carroll. All of us ladies are going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over you. Yeah, calm the shit down, okay? Let's be real. Calm down. Thank you, though. I do appreciate it. You ladies are lovely, too, but calm the fuck down. Brooks, interview with Nick Fuentes soon. Again, I don't really know how to do interviews in this platform, and certainly not while I'm traveling all around setting up my studio brand new in every place I get to. But I do want to start bringing people onto the stream. Maybe we'll maybe I'll find a way to do it through Discord or something like that, and just keep it low key. Because I do want to have an open conversation forum where I can just have people on and we can hang and be low key and talk without having to feel like a podcast or anything like that. I got your name right, didn't I? Kash Patel went to New Zealand a few days ago on jet. I didn't know about that. Huh. Britt Ballard. Deep dive soon into Trump's sketchy modeling agency. Operated late 90s to 2016. Shut down due to visa abuse. Epstein's was structured based on his. Yeah, Trump's modeling career is all sorts of sketchy. F the technical issues. You are not low quality. Thanks, Real Talk. I appreciate that. And I got a definition of not just for good measure. I appreciate you, Real Talk. You're right. Pat Tanaka, thanks for the super. Jennifer, thanks for the super. Watch the video where you can see Charlie's arm. I will watch that at some point. I'm not going to get out another video here on stream right now, though. The Johnson Amendment, which prohibits 501c3 organizations from endorsing political candidates, challenged in 2024/2025. In July 2025, IRS settled lawsuit allows churches to endorse candidates. Interesting. That's good to know. Yeah, I need to do more of a deep dive on this. My understanding is that Turning Point actually got not sued, but had to settle with the government, I believe, or possibly someone that sued them over one of these violations actually in the last couple of years. So people have raised concerns before about Turning Point USA's structure. Sandy Labourdet. 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 You guys can't see how her name is spelled because it froze up again. But it's like, we're getting into the French here. Sandy Labourdet. Sent you a YouTube video. Wouldn't let me super chat it. Please watch. Yeah, you can't super chat a YouTube video. But, you know. Zoe Trinity, thanks for the super. Jennifer, I can send the links. Charlie raises his arm in the air. Oh, don't worry. We can find that video for sure. Creep toe. With a 10-degree angle from Tyler Robinson's position, the view through his scope and where the barrel points will only be out my 3 inches. But, sorry, I can't read that long of a super. Pie Man. Ian, did you reply to my email? Did you find it? I did not reply, and I did not find it yet. I didn't actually even look yet. But I do remember you, Pie Man, and I do remember that it's in there. And I'm not going to go looking for it on stream, but I'll go looking for it after. My notebook's not in here. Olga Tronic, thanks for the big super. What if whoever wrote those messages between Tyler and the boyfriend is a foreigner? After Candace was talking about a foreigner possible connection, it dawned on me that could be the case. It could be, but it wouldn't really make very much sense. Why would you assign a foreigner to write out the fake text messages? I just don't know. Matthew Albrecht, thanks for the super. Zoe Trinity, thanks for the super. Thoughts on what NJF has been saying about Candace? I'm staying out of it. I think that Nick's thoughts on Candace are silly and uncalled for. I think that Nick is getting a real rise out of it, and he's just having fun. And I think that Candace's response to Nick is not ideal. And it's like, they're on the same fucking team. Nick and Candace are on the same team, and I know that. Unless Nick is not actually who he purports to be, but I know Candace well, and I know that she is legit, and she is who she is, and she believes what she believes, and she's very straightforward. She's very honest. And I wish that Nick would just stop antagonizing her, and I wish that she would stop being hurt about it and annoyed by him, and both of them are firing back, and it's just not helpful. Same team, guys. Stephanie Kennedy. I was a homeschool mom for 14 years, 3 girls now, 28, 23, and 16. It was the most rewarding thing I've ever done as a parent. Anyone do it. Yes, do it. Yes, 100% do it. If you've got boys, if you've got girls, there's good reasons for both that are different. Some of them are the same, but it's so important. Do not let your kids just get mainstream brain rotted at school. Billy Jones World. Hey, buddy, please look into Astrid Tumenez and the president of the university. Interesting. Will do. Cool Cat. Is that not an entry above the freedom lettering and just below the collar of the shirt? People have been speculating that it's blood splatter. I've never really bought the blood splatter thing. I don't know how you get an entry on the front with an exit on the front. That doesn't really track for me. But I have wondered about the weird little hole thing that appears on the front of the shirt. So I don't know. In the video where they're smiling, you see his arm. Correct. Yes. I think there's another one where you see his arm too, but it's that video I think that most people are referencing, and there's no blood on it really. YVM. Yes. Take a look at the footage. Suspect loses his shadow when enters the last bit of white roof before jumping. Correct. That's also very suspicious. And maybe it's an artifact of the video, but it's that's suspicious as hell. Brooks, love your work, man. Please stay completely independent no matter what. I will, don't worry. And I especially appreciate super chats like that. Thank you. Vincent, return to authenticity. Eric Sardina, diversion to power. Derek Bros both hosted Brian Harple, wiped from the internet. 18 minutes in Derek Bros episode. Brian names Mossad agents he admires. I don't know what that means, but I really admire Derek Bros. Great independent journalist. Definitely support Derek. Cue YouTube video to 2542. I don't know what that means, Sandy, and I don't know what YouTube video you're referring to, but I appreciate you. Buster, if you love art, you'll love Ramel Z. His philosophies are like 1984 flipped into a cosmic war over language. Pure genius. Dig it. Gregory, if the injury originated internally, it would explain a lot. I don't know what that would explain. Other than it would be confusing, and we are confused. Did you see that a letter from Israeli official dated September 2nd gave condolences to the Kirk family on his passing? I believe I did. It wasn't exactly a letter. I forget what it was. I think I saved it though. I'm pretty sure I downloaded it to my computer and saved it in offline format, like in my like external drive, if I remember correctly. So I think I have it just in case, you can't be too careful now. Creep toe. He could easily clip the gutter or roof's edge, leading to bullet deforming and shattering easily on entrance. I don't know, man. I don't know about easily, and I don't know about like complex ballistics. I'm not a ballistics expert, so I don't know. Could be. Matthew Albrecht, I was just there and got drone footage of all the rooftops, and I was wondering if you wanted it and if there's an email I could send it to. Gotcha. I got drone footage too. And I appreciate you. And what you should probably do is you should probably send it to either Jason Goodman, Crowdsource the Truth, or to John Cullen, or to Chris Martinson. I got my drone footage of everything that I was curious about. I would be curious to see other drone footage, but I'm sure it's, basically the same as what I saw. So, but you're the bomb. It's good that everyone's looking out. And I'd be curious if your drone footage, like if you see what we just streamed earlier in this video and my drone footage, I would be curious if yours shows all the same things on the same roofs. Laura, Ian, I pray God keeps you safe. I think the weapon is the cameras. Yeah, I'm a little skeptical about the camera weapon gun theory, but I don't know. It's like at this point, who knows? The angle kind of lines up. Jim Kerr, should I post a personal Dropbox or email you? I don't know about what, but you can email me. CancelThisClothingCompany@gmail.com. Jenny, thanks for the super. Heiko Siegfried Schmidt, thanks for the big super with no messages, guys. Lab Diamonds London. Guys, I'm going as fast as I can up this. I'm trying my best to... At some point here, we're going to have to just like put a hard stop on no more super chats are allowed in. Because I'm just trying to keep up. YouTube channel at Mr. Let Go showed the video of EMT workers going up to SUV and the security guards don't let the EMT workers in. Mr. Let Go. I'm going to type that into my YouTube here. Mr. Let Go. So I'm going to save that for later. I'm not going to watch it right now because I don't know where it would be in which stream. But I have not seen Mr. Let Go yet. And he's clearly posting a bunch about this whole situation. So I'll be curious. Oh, it looks like he's talking about potentially air rifles, CO2 powered rifles, which is neat. Lab Diamonds, thanks for the tip there. Cousin Fat. Cousin Fat, we need to pressure the FBI to release the full unedited rooftop footage, i.e. the alleged shooter's entrance to the roof, an actual gunshot. You're dang straight we do. Yeah, I agree. What you see is what you get. Thanks for the big super. Erica equals Monarch, asset vetted, trauma conditioned, princess, alter installed to steer TPUSA, reverse speech congruency, ritual cues, Gnostic error, plus ARC script, equal controlled persona built for public trust and narrative control. I mean, it could be. I don't know. I don't personally believe that for sure by any means, but I do know that Monarch is real. And I do know that all this crazy shit that what you see is what you get just put in there is like not as crazy as it sounds once you actually do some research on how this shit works. Danker, guy speaking to Kirk last before the shot, has his arms crossed just until he asked the question. I wonder if that was also a hand signal. Theorizing. Yeah, so I was actually just rewatching the moment of the shot on a pretty high quality video last night over and over and over. And like the dude that was asking the questions has a very intense visceral reaction immediately that is like pretty gay, for lack of a better word, is like he's talking at Charlie and then like crack. And as soon as it happens, he like goes like, and like trembles like uncontrollably, just like a leftist would. And sorry, leftist, I love you. I'm kind of one of you guys too. I'm just talking shit. But he has this very intense, like obvious, like what the fuck. And like his back is turned to the camera that I was watching it on, but it's like I doubt that the guy that asked the question was in on anything. Honestly, I also saw he posted a video immediately after the shooting that seemed pretty earnest to me. So, Michael Landry, thanks for the big super, bro. You should reach out to Fresh and Fit /Myron on how they do YouTube /locals. It works well. Also, I thought it was clear Charlie had metal armor under his shirt that ricocheted the bullet. That's why there was no exit wound. There was no metal armor underneath Charlie's shirt. We know that from analyzing the video evidence, from looking at it clearly. We also know that I know that personally from my own sources. I know that from Candace's sources. I know that from public disclosure by the TPUSA teams. We are very sure at this point that Charlie was not wearing body armor. That being said, Myron is a great resource on all sorts of things, including on this story. And I would be curious how they do their YouTube and locals, but they have a shitload. They have a team. They have helpers. They have other stuff going on. But I'll ask him. I'm actually right now. I should hit Myron up. I'm like in town right now. So I should go hang out with Myron. Vincent DeVecchi's, Brian's company, Integrity Security Solutions, gone. I did notice this. Yeah, I heard about this. The security company is vanished from the internet. Brooks, have you or anyone, oh my gosh, calm down, guys. Have you or anyone else seen the hidden video of BB talking complete shit about Americans and how he controls us? We all know it was Israel. Yes. Yes, the leaked video, it's from several years ago, of BB talking to an Israeli family in, I think, the West Bank about how he controls America and we're so easy to manipulate and he's not worried about us. We're very easy to manipulate and move around. Family 2014, thanks for the super. Elijah Robert Madi Soto, thanks for the big super there. Missing 411. Bagram Air Base has troops now. Zelensky, Claudia, Detroit football. Hold love in your heart forever and always. Godspeeded. P.S. Tucker holding up paper. H rituals. Bro. Don't take this the wrong way, Elijah Robert Madi Soto. But you follow Q, don't you? You're a homie that follows Q, aren't you? I can tell from how you write, and I like it. And I like you. Gigi, come on up here. Let's have a little puppy break. Let's have a puppy break. Come up here. Come on. Yeah, come on up. Oh, yes. Gigi, what do you have to say to the people? What do you have to say to the good people of the internet? Huh? What do you think of that? What do you think of that? Yeah? That's what Gigi thinks of it. Elijah, Gigi thinks that you're the shit, and she digs it. But no, I don't know what that means. I don't speak that language. I can't read that comment. I don't know. Look at how glowing white that portion of the roof is where you were looking at the HVAC pipe. It looks new. Look at all the rooftops. They have dirt and wear throughout except the roof you looked at. Dude, that pipe looks fucking new. And here's the other thing. It's really big. And when I was standing out there looking up at that pipe on the roof, I could clearly see that it was like a big rounded bulbous thing. It looked like R2-D2 was up there staring down at me. It was not far away. And I highly doubt that it would appear the way it appeared in the Life is Driving live stream footage that we were analyzing from during the shooting. It does not look like it would appear like that. It looks like it was added after the fact. And the fact that the one that was in the footage of the shooting seemed to disappear only adds to my confusion. Because that would line up with a shot from the back side coming out the front left. That would align with the lines of sight that would be needed. It would be hard for people to spot you up there. You could theoretically have a secretive in and out. It's the most likely position in my mind that we have any evidence at all of someone being in, even if it's shaky. So that's currently my best theory, but I don't know. Family 2014, his shoes are completely new, not even dirty, just a thought. By the way, did anyone bring up a thought that Charlie's baby may have been hidden under the trap door and replaced with the dummy? I assume you mean body? And I don't think that's possible. To be perfectly honest, I don't think that's possible. There was too many cameras around. Too much of it was on footage. I don't think that's possible. That would be very audacious to plan to, because think about that. You are then saying, we're going to pull the trigger on this massive operation with fake gunshots in in front of thousands of kids, all with their phones out. And then not only are we going to do a fake gunshot, fake blood splatter, fake dead Charlie with the pugilist pose, but then he's going to fall over, and in front of everyone, we're going to body swap him with a double that comes out of a trap door that's in plain view of everybody. It's like, that's not... And if anything goes wrong, you're all going to prison and your whole organization is getting found out. And like, Lord knows what the fallout of that being uncovered would be. So I don't buy it. Katie Bell 24, thanks for the super. Thomas Dunn Montana, thanks for the big super. Buddy, you're doing great. Keep up the good fight. I'm 62 years old, retired, awake, not woke. Appreciate you. We need more of the elders waking up. Wake up, elders your age. Y'all are holding it down up there. I appreciate it. Just common sensing it. Guy in the plaid shirt behind the table after CK's shot bends down and putting something in his back pocket when walking behind the guys and tent. Then watch videos Charlie Kirk carried out. He's coming from far end and not in there. Yes, there's some suspicious handoffs. There's suspicious pocket stuff. There's suspicious guy going around the back, getting up on the bank of the gravel to have a phone conversation apparently, taking the SD cards out of the cameras, all kinds of suspicious stuff from their own team. So, yes, I'm with you. Craig Dubs, Ian, on Google Maps, go to Hall of Flags UVU and look at Joshua Hall's user photo and how there was a huge tree in sight line of shooter and Charlie. When was that removed? This face I'm making as if I'm wondering if it's worth going there right now on stream, and I don't think it is. Because I was there personally, and I can tell you that there was no tree in the way of the line of sight. I don't know when the tree would have been removed, but I'm curious. I will go and look at that on my own time. That's a good idea. Thank you, Craig. Paranoid Optimist. How free speech do you think Rumble is and will remain? It's very free speech, but it's not a viable platform because they don't pay. Like, they don't pay you anything. The only way that you get paid shit on Rumble, like I made, like 30 cents on Rumble over the course of months. But the only way you really get paid a real living on Rumble is if you sign a deal with Rumble, which they pay a lot of money for. The streamers that are like contracted to Rumble, I know some behind the scenes details about some of those contracts, and holy fuck, it's a lot of money. But it's contracts like you must stream 100 hours a week or shit like that. Or and so it's just a weird model that doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't like it. And if you're not going to pay creators enough for them to make a living doing it, whereas like YouTube will, then you're never going to be a platform. You can't be taken seriously. Because like if I can be here on YouTube and make a good living and raise a family and buy a home and take care of them, and Rumble I can't even like buy a sandwich, it's like, duh, I'm not going to go there. Like, even if it's free speech, it's not free speech if it can't pay for the industry that it's purporting to support, because it is an industry and this is a job, and you do need to pay creators because this is a full-time job and it takes my entire day, all day, every day. I don't really do anything else. I don't even have a lot of friends. I just travel around the country and do this. So Faith and Home, Jesse Davis, can a bullet be heated or cauterized on its way out, or that weird handoff? Did that man cauterize the exit? This is all sus. Thank you. No, as in cauterize the exit wound? No. So a cauterized wound is like a wound that then you burn with something red hot to like melt it closed. A cauterized wound is not invisible. A cauterized wound is like a giant melted pussy flesh mob. So I don't think so, Faith and Home. But I like how you're thinking. Lulu Mallory, thanks for the big super. Keep up the good works. Ian, stay safe and healthy. Olga Tronic, thanks for the big super. As soon as Candace mentioned a foreign connection, it dawned on me that those Discord messages could have been written by a foreigner. English is my second language, so it tracks. It could be. I think it would just be really dumb to outsource that part of the job to a foreigner. But who knows? If they're all foreigners, I don't know. Michelangelo B, new to the chat. What about the no blood? It wasn't visible on anyone. Bingo. That's what the whole show was about today. Even though we're like an hour after the show ended, that is what our whole show was about tonight. Paranoid Optimist. Also, wasn't it weird how a lot of people said that Charlie knew that this would happen to him and or he was ready to do so? It's not exactly that Charlie said he knew this was going to happen. It's that Harrison Smith spoke with one of Charlie's personal friends, and that personal friend of Charlie's said that Charlie had said in recent times that he was afraid. Charlie was afraid, apparently, allegedly, that if he turned on Israel, they might try to kill him. And Harrison put that tweet out a month before this happened, which gives it a lot of credit. One Florida girl, thanks for the super. Appreciate you. No message. Penny Mills. Hi, Ian. Love you. Love you too. Thanks, Penny. OMG, no way that's real. Ashton Forbes is the male Laura Loomer. Big fan. Ignore the noise, soldier. Roger that. I've got thick skin. Don't worry about it. Can't bother me. I'm pretty sure that someone paid $100 to talk shit about me on this in here somewhere. So hopefully we get to that super chat because that'll be fun. Brett, $10. At 11:27 in the Life is Driving Raw video, you see a guy in a red t-shirt on the balcony in the distance that looks like the guy in the red t-shirt in the doorbell video. Correct. I've seen that theory. It's too blurry to really make out, so I'm not really going to give it any stock or credit or anything. I don't know what to make of it. Cured by Deception should partner with Elijah Schaffer. Yeah, I really like Elijah Schaffer. I don't know his whole backstory or anything, but actually I think he's out this direction. There's a bunch of people that are out here in Florida that I got to hit up. So I'll try to link up with him. I'm pretty sure he's out here somewhere. Brooks, Ian, and Nick Fuentes interview ASAP, bro. Yeah, we'll work on it here. One Florida girl. The entire situation looks off. Whatever is the truth will be the one thing we haven't talked about out. I don't know. We might have talked about the truth. 7 sweet kids. Don't forget Jesus was betrayed by Judas. Betrayal happens. You're damn straight. And it sure looks like betrayal happened here. I mean, at the very least, spiritual betrayal happened as Charlie was getting called an anti-Semite like crazy and getting like attacked from his own like Jewish donor base and friends, theoretically, right up to his death. And now they're clearly trying to turn TPUSA into just a giant Israel lobby. Oh, you guys are brutal. See, Hilly, bruh. Find you a person who looks at you the way Erica Kirk looks at leaderless TPUSA. That's cold, bro. That's cold. Jeremy Pearson. Hey, Ian, curious if you listened to the police scanner of CK incident. Pretty interesting. Check out Truth and Transparency. If you mean the police scanner saying that there was no autopsy done, I did hear that clip. And I've heard a number of other police scanner recordings from the day of that have some kind of neat stuff in it, but not enough of them. I do wish that I had thought to turn on the police scanner right away when I heard it was happening. It's kind of hard to know whether you can trust police scanner recordings or not because it's just audio and it's like, it's hard. I don't know. It's hard to double check things like that. Oh, man, I'm trying my best here, guys. Lavington, what do you make of Charlie Kirk's arm popping up while laying on the ground? He had a bit of flicking stuff. Not that I'm saying it was fake or gray equip box had anything part or CGI chair blocked it. It's hard to read your super chat, but I don't know. It's hard to say. They could have moved his arm. It's very normal when you're positioning someone. If you are not trained to move patients, it's very normal to reposition people's bodies when you're preparing to lift them for a move. Moving a incapacitated person is extremely difficult. They weigh a lot. That weight is limp and floppy. It is super hard to move a person. Even multiple grown men moving a person, they still need to position him to get the best lift, especially if you have any worry about spinal trauma or any wound you're trying to deal with at the same time. So it's very understandable or believable that they would have rolled Charlie over or like repositioned his arms to try to get under his arms and stuff like that. So it's really hard to put any draw any conclusions from that without having a better video like the one right over their heads looking straight down on what happened that they aren't giving us. So keep up the great work. Stay focused and stay connected to good people. Love your work. Thanks for 1111. Appreciate that. Eagle Eye, Cash and Bongino flip sense and power. Nothing surprised me anymore. Probably blackmail. The only thing more important than money is money is family. The Cash and Bongino flip was so dramatic and so concerning that for me that really was a wake up call too, and that I don't know what's going on. And yeah, it does go to show that money is just money, dude. there's nothing more important than friends and family and connections and people, like the real stuff, the memories that actually matter. The Ida Hour, the Settlers doc is free right now on YouTube about the West Bank. Let me get a visual on that. The Settlers. Ooh, spicy. It is. It's from a year ago. Let me just put visual on this. Let me reset my screen. Boom. This is the doc, The Settlers. I have not watched it, FYI. But, figured I'd let us know. So let's go back to our super chats. And it looks like I got to reset it again. I'm just going to leave this thing open. And I'm just going to click reset capture all the time. Michael, look into LM Studio to run LLM models locally. Word. Eliana Legakis, best way to send product recs? I don't know what that means. You can't really send product recs. You could super chat me a product rec and I would read it, but I don't know if I would do anything about it. Erica is a Monarch asset vetted in trauma. We already read this one. What you see is what you get. I appreciate all the supers. Big time. And I appreciate the concept of this theory. It's a legit theory worth, keeping an eye on. I am certainly not going to make any public accusations against the widow of Charlie Kirk without very hard evidence because it's just too much. It's too intense of an accusation to make. And I genuinely don't see enough evidence to make that accusation. What direction TPUSA goes under her leadership will tell us a lot. And I think we're all watching very closely to see what they do. Hussam Dogan, I don't know what TRI is, but that's a cool acronym for a currency. Thanks for the big super. You were talking about Trump Plaza Hotel at Joe Rogan, then topic changed. I know, dude. Joe is very good at verbal jujitsu of like redirecting conversations. And I don't know if he did that one on purpose or if it just happened to be that his brain was on some other train of thought. But yeah, I was busy elucidating how Trump bought a bunch of famous blackmail locations and has a lot of suspicious history around the blackmail industry. But we kind of got sidetracked and then we never came back to it. And that is definitely one of the spicier things that I was going to talk about on Joe Rogan that I never got to because we kind of like just went other directions. But I have talked about that idea, that concept many other times on many other podcasts. It's not a secret. Particularly it's the Plaza Hotel where the Blue Suite parties happened, where J. Edgar Hoover and others were blackmailed in the 30s, 40s, 50s. And then it's also the Trump Princess, his boat. He bought from Adnan Khashoggi, who's a famous weapons trafficker, who's famous for blackmailing people on that boat. Mila, I forgive you for not reading my super chat. Appreciate you. I'm sorry for whatever I didn't read. Alex Garcia, even if they find out that this is an inside job, what do you really think they would do about it? They'll find a fall guy and move along. What are your thoughts? The question is if we figure out that it's an inside job. Because there is only so much loss of public support that they can survive, particularly Israel, but also our own government and our own power players on this side of that structure. And so there's an element that like they can't let us drift too far out of their reality. They have to keep us in the guidelines a little bit. And if we got conclusive proof in the public square that this was an inside job, I mean, Trump and Vance have to maintain perception that they are Charlie Kirk's friends. The fallout would be catastrophic if they were able to be shown to be turning a blind eye to clear, conclusive, direct evidence that it was an inside job of some sort and they like didn't do anything about it. It's like that would open us all up to so many attack vectors on them. I don't know how they would survive that. Kyle, when I mentioned economy of life, people seem to put less value on Arab lives, which is disgusting. They're dehumanized by the Zios. Good. Kyle, sorry that I made it seem like you were a Zio shill earlier. I wasn't sure how to read your comment. I appreciate you. I agree with you. Yes. You are correct that too many Zionists treat Arab life as though it's lesser. And that's what the entire terrorism 9/11 propaganda campaign was all about, was about getting Americans to think of Arab life as lesser, the way that a lot of Israelis seem to think of Arab life. And that is not a Christian way to think. That's not an American way to think. That's not a free way to think. That's not a democratic way to think. That's a shitty way to think. That's a supremacist way to think. And the problem that we all have with Zionism, with the current state of like the global Jewish conversation, is that if you're going to think that you are God's chosen people, you are a supremacist nation. You're a supremacist ideology. That's what the Nazis were. Sorry, that is completely unacceptable. And that is why you have an ethno-nationalist project that's pissing off the entire world and everyone is turned against you, is because you are a supremacist state. And anyone that is going to perpetuate the supremacist concept of the Jewish religion, that's the downfall of the Jewish religion, because no supremacist religion is going to survive in modern day, because you're inherently going to make enemies of the entire world if you think you're better than everyone else. But B, you're pieces of shit, because your supremacist religious perspective justifies you murdering Arabs, murdering women and children, raping people, lying to people, taking advantage of people, stealing from people, charging interest of people, right? You are not God's chosen people. Sorry, God doesn't give a fuck about you any more than anyone else. God loves all of his children. And if you believe otherwise, sorry, I can't get with you. If you think that one race of people is better than another race of people just by virtue of that race, right? Then don't fucking come at me about Nazis, bro. Gary Leja, Korea. Well, hello from Japan. Stay safe, and arigato. Arigato gozaimashite. Sorry about your currency and all. I heard that the yen is having a little trouble right now. I hope you guys are doing okay over there. Japan sounds like an awesome place. Hope to get to visit it someday. Buckeye Bell 330. YouTube hasn't been notifying me when you're live, even though I have notifications on. Just FYI, I love your stuff. Hope you get some rest. Take care. I did get a little rest last night, although I was up early this morning. Definitely more rest incoming here. And I don't know. That's shitty about the notification bell. Not surprising, though. Rachel D. DC warmongering neocons are behind it, a.k.a. Israel. Yep. Violent testimonial. Ian, I love your content. I'm looking for ways to get into the conversation. Have you ever considered a call-in show? Also, has no major media acknowledged Candace's direct accusation of TPUSA? No. They've been avoiding TPUSA all over the place. They don't want to talk about Candace. They don't want to talk about the call out. They don't want to talk about the fact that apparently Charlie Kirk had directly told TPUSA that they were going to abandon their Israel position. Apparently he said that 2 weeks before he was murdered, and then he was murdered. And Candace apparently knows about that, probably through verbal conversations on the phone. Maybe she has screenshots too. I don't know. Penny Mills, forgot to tell you I'm from Canada. You, Tucker, and Candace are my favorite people. I knew you were from Canada because you paid Canadian dollars, but I appreciate you. I love you. I'm actually half Canadian too. My mom is from Canada. Fiona Wong, thank you very much for your work. With limited resources for my Cantonese podcast, I am relying on yours and other commentators' work for my Hong Kong audience. Most of the Cantonese sources are from legacy media. Right on. Way to spread the truth far and wide to other places, to other languages. You're the bomb. Really appreciate you. Hong Kong is in a hell of a position right now too. Praying for all of you in Hong Kong. I know you guys have it rough right now. And you guys are some of the strongest fighters for freedom there is in the world. So way to go. Dog's Nose. Ian, why did Cash say see you in Valhalla and emphasize the number 33 several times? Kind of weird to me. Thanks and woof. Woof? What? Yeah, it was weird. And the Valhalla conspiracy theory with the screen of Tyler Robinson's desktop background is like a whole crazy dig rabbit hole. It's hilarious. It's the whole thing. I don't know what to say about it. Thanks, Robert. Thanks, Brandon. Moose Caboose. I'd love if you would talk about the greater Israel and the chances that Netanyahu is trying to fulfill Isaiah 11:11. Yeah, I don't know enough about scripture, but I know that the project is greater Israel. The idea is greater Israel. What they want is greater Israel, which is not just Palestine. It is also segments of other nations around the area. It's basically the entire British mandate for Palestine. And they very much want that. They very much want to rebuild the temple. They are very much and that's the weird thing, is that most of them are actually secular, But it's like they're using the religious fervor of the deeply religious Jews to like manipulate other Jewish people into the same perception of like pretending that it's about religion, even though for most of them it's not. And it's so dark. And it's very dangerous, the rhetoric that is coming out of people like Smotrich and Ben Gvir over there. So, Ian, you can see that third floor door open in that raw footage video you have. It shows it open when he's panning the crowd when walking through. I'll look. If you're talking about the Life is Driving live stream, I have not noticed. If you're talking about in my footage that I got, that is not correct, actually. The door is at a weird kind of angle. It's like built in a way that it kind of like is offset. I'll have to go back and look more carefully. I'll go look. I got off here. Jamie, love you, Ian. Thanks. Appreciate the super there. Bilal Hassan, Ian, can you do a deep dive on Christianity and the divinity of Jesus and Pauline conspiracy with the same integrity you do everything else with? I don't think so. I don't really care to like attack the Jesus myth, which is like not mythological. It's like real history, but there's like all this mythology around it that is very near and dear to people's hearts. And it's like, oh, what's up, Valhalla? Valhalla VFT. Thanks for the shout out, buddy. Me and Alex appreciate you. We appreciate you, Valhalla. Awesome work going on over there on that channel. Everyone should be following him. Catch up on all of his streams that he's done so far about the shooting. And I'm sure that he'll do more ongoing. He's got a really fun mixture of like taking it seriously and being objective and not getting too into the tinfoil and all that, but also being like open-minded and thoughtful and fun and just intelligent and not like trying to like box yourselves into too much of one perspective. It's really refreshing and really useful. But I skipped over here. What you see is what you get. Charlie's parents are dead. Robert Kirk, 2008, and mom died in 2000. Charlie really died. There is blood on his arm, face, neck, packed part way with shirt. Cool. Good to know about his parents. I didn't know that. I guess I knew that about his father. I did not know about that his mom. And yeah, I'm of the mindset that Charlie is dead. I don't know what to make about the blood evidence stuff. It's the end of the world as we know it. The door was up by the bush above the stairs, was open. I saw it. Thanks. Stay safe. Oh, the door up by the bush on the balcony. So here's the thing. I looked at that balcony a lot when I was there in person. And I don't think that I'll go back over the footage. I don't think that the door is close enough to the edge to actually have a line of sight down to Charlie Kirk. I think you'd have to be out on the balcony. And the balcony is way too exposed to shoot from. If you were inside the door, maybe. But if you're out on the balcony, I don't think so. Here's our homie that paid $100 to send a hate message. You're either a propagandist or a complete imbecile, Ian. No offense. It is undeniable that a projectile was inside his microphone. I have 120 FPS videos showing this, along with 2 more videos showing 2 more projectiles going off in the same fashion behind him. Reach out to me. I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't know any form of Newtonian physics where a projectile can be in something this big, shoot out of it with any amount of force, and not shoot this thing in the opposite direction with equal force. That being said, I mean, it sounds like at least you're not claiming that it was an explosion, because it obviously wasn't an explosion. The projectile theory, plausible. But here's the thing. Here's just one thing. If you're saying that there is a mic here on this side on his shirt shooting up in this direction at his neck, I assume that the theory is that it went in to his neck here and came out of his neck over here, where we saw what would be an exit wound in this theory, right? So in here, out here, because the mic is over here, shooting a projectile this direction, right? It can't hit this side of the neck first. It would have to hit this side first, come out here, right? We're all good so far? How does it hit his spine? From here to here? It's not going to hit his spine, right? We know it hit his spine because he goes into pugilist pose, which is this like curving of the hands, this like it's called decorticate posturing. You need a theory that accounts for his spine getting destroyed really dramatically all at once. I mean, like, I am glad people are looking into the microphone theories and looking into all theories and analyzing it, carefully. But honestly, the way that the microphone theory came out felt a little suspicious to me, how it just blasted all over the internet all at once with like very shaky evidence and a seriously easy debunk of it that is like I'm going to need a lot more evidence than what we've got before I start considering the microphone a likely option. Like shooting from a drone is a more likely option in my mind than the microphone, or like even shooting from inside the trapdoor space underneath the ground, shooting up through the ground at him is like about as likely as the microphone in my opinion. But Ali, I appreciate the big super. Thanks for reaching out. Thanks for telling it like it is and giving us your take. Greg, hey, great work. Any thoughts on the camera shooter video that Jimmy Dore discussed? The angle seems to work. I've not seen the video that you're talking about. Maybe he's talking about the guy with the thing underneath his arm, or maybe he's talking about the guy with the thing like this. I don't know. There's all these videos going around. I haven't seen it yet. I'll check it out. Heather Kirk, I'm a noob. Meant to ask, could make a short of the far apart of this video. Yes, I also am going to make much more. Yeah, we might clip it, but I'm also going to, and you guys can always clip things and share them around, clip segments from videos and put them out. I'll repost you. If you send me a clip that you've made of my content, I will repost your shit. Great way to grow a platform if you want to. Sort of. But I will also be covering all the Farah stuff a whole bunch more this week. And right this moment, right now, Mel is actually probably holding her Twitter space, actually. Let me go look. Village. I don't know how to spell her handle. Yeah, Village Crazy Lady is live right now. How many more supers do I have to get through here, guys? Okay, we're almost at the top. I'm going to finish off my supers, then I'm going to send you all over to Village Crazy Lady's space, hopefully to show her some support. What about Charlie Kirk receiving a dignified transfer? Oh, let me reset this real quick so you guys can read. What about Charlie Kirk receiving a dignified transfer? Spy thoughts? I don't know what that means. But I think what I'm hearing is, yes, that's possible. Evan Raird, you're awesome, Ian. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Jacob, are there known officials in the Israeli government working against Bibi? I don't personally have concrete knowledge of all the minor officials in the Israeli government, but I know that all the major officials are pretty much Bibi's coalition that he's drawn together of the ultra-extremist right-wing factions. There are a ton of Israelis that are against Bibi, though, so I'm sure there's some in the government. And I know that Trump just actually posted about the protesters yesterday. Brooks, bro, are you really saying the Candace Nick Tucker situation is how you say it is? Come on, man. I'm not really sure what you mean by that, Brooks. What I'm saying is that I like all of them, and I know some stuff behind the scenes, but I'm not trying to get in the middle of it, and I don't care to fucking make more drama. Drama is not helpful. Having three people that are all on the same team fighting each other, not helpful. And if any of, like, let's suppose that one of them is a Fed. Any one of them. You take your pick. Who cares? Doesn't help to, like, turn around and stop moving forwards and start fighting amongst ourselves when no one has any proof that anyone is a Fed. Much better to just keep charging in the right direction and let the Fed expose themselves along the way. Feds always have to expose themselves eventually, because eventually they have to try to subvert what we're doing. And if you just keep on doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is fucking figuring out the truth, the Feds don't really have any answer to that. So I don't know if that's what you were talking about here, Brooks, but yeah, I'm staying out of it. I don't want any drama. Drama sucks. Real talk. What's your take on Romanian Angels, the charity? I looked into it a bit. We need way more concrete evidence. It's very convoluted. It's the kind of reporting that, like, there's a front layer of the Romanian child trafficking angle with the charity that Erica Kirk used to run. That's like very surface level. It's like there's nothing there. You dig deeper into the sources that are much harder to find on the internet right now, but they're there. And there is a layer where, like, there was a scandal around the military base in Romania around that time about child trafficking in a brothel and stuff like that. Not directly related to the charity that she was running, but related to the military base. And it feels a little bit like like you once shook hands with this guy and that guy was involved in that thing and that thing was that. It feels a little strung together in my mind. Certainly not concrete enough that I'm going to, put that out there and make that bold of an accusation. But I'm glad that people are digging into it, and it's a very worthwhile thing to dig into. And it's possible there's more there than the kind of like second layer of reporting that I found so far. So worth checking out. Calais K-Ann. Hey, Ian, hope to connect. Please connect with Emma Catherine of the Imagination podcast. Listen to her survivors. They put the Epstein stuff together. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. She's got a bunch of like symbols in her username and stuff. I think that she's the Epstein survivor that is always collecting the survivor testimonies. It's a lot. Survivor testimony is a lot to listen to and to manage. But it's important work, and God bless them. Elizabeth Ma, God bless you, Ian. Look forward to all your content. Thank you. Pew Pew Pistol, all roads lead to Israel. Usually, not always, but usually. AVS, thank you. D. Anderson, thank you. Tagged again and sent to your email with a bonus. It's common for a sniper to prop open door to mitigate overpressure, especially in a glass building. Ooh, good to know. And certainly propping open a door is a way better shooting position than being on top of a roof. You are so visible on top of a roof. You're silhouetted against the sky. Top of a roof is super suboptimal position. Being inside of a window, back from the opening, back from a door, back from a vent, something like that is far preferable. You don't have to be a genius to know that. Pie Man, thank you. I have sent email again now, so hopefully it's near the top of all the distractions. Cool. Especially since I've said my email on stream like 3 times. I probably got all these like chicks in my email now, like sending me like dating applications. Oh boy. Do you think Cash enjoys himself some nose candy? Oh yeah, bro. Yeah. I think that a lot of people in DC enjoy themselves some nose candy. For buyers app, call out Amazon who sell unregistered medical devices. Look into menstrual cups. They are supposed to be registered with the FDA, but China gets to sell cheap unregistered ones on Amazon. Interesting. Yeah, Amazon can suck it. The buyer app isn't really going to be about calling out anyone like Amazon. It's just about providing alternatives and telling you who owns everything. So it'll help with the problem. Ignore all my dups. Enjoy the money. Appreciate you. I appreciate you too. What you see is what you get. I don't know what dups means, but I appreciate you. Dimitri, thoughts on the chair clipping through the table? I don't know what the fuck to make of the AI chair thing going on. I don't know. I'm assuming it's like visually deception, just a deception based upon it being a video, but I don't know. Love that you can vouch for Candace. I find it super interesting that TPUSA blatantly ignores her, including Erica. I can 100% vouch for Candace. And I feel very confident vouching for Candace. I've seen her home. I've met her kids. I've met her family. I know her whole team. They held nothing back. There was zero like weirdness. There was like, I was allowed free roam of her house right from the start. There was zero. I felt absolutely no vibes as though there was any veil or line or nervousness or deception at all. Completely free reign. I could have walked in all around there. It's not a thing. Candace is 100% legit. She's totally honest. She is who she is. She believes what she believes. She's telling the truth. Candace on screen is the same as Candace off screen. Alexa, has anyone looked into when the construction / overall of the area Charlie was murdered was scheduled? Love you, Ian. Thanks for the work you're doing. I don't know, and I have the same question. When did they schedule that remodel? For Frodo! Viva la Resistance! Emily Otts rocks. Love and prayers and appreciation from Arkansas. Thanks, Arkansas. Appreciate you. The fact that Nick Fuentes seems to care more about Charlie Kirk murder than TPUSA folks is sus. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Gigi is cute. Brittany, you're right. Gigi is super cute. She is the cutest. You better believe it. Figuring it out, the FBI adopted the Flow 5556K back in 2022. Weird how the fire was suppressed, right? I found that while research for my own video on my channel. I don't know what that means, but I dig that you're doing your own stuff too and doing your own research. The photo on Google Maps Hall of Flags from user with tree and bullet path was from 2 years ago. Not sure when the tree removed though. Good intel. The super chats are like solving mysteries all on their own. Charlie is not dead. They're all in on it, Smarty Digital. It could be. I don't know what to make of it. We know Israel did it. Charlie was about to flip TP on them. He was learning the truth once he showed himself to look. Also, come to North Carolina to chill. Sounds like North Carolina is having a not very chill time right now, but I appreciate you. And yes, Charlie, yeah, we're going to look into all the donors and how they built TPUSA and all this shit. We're going to look into all of that this week. Outside the Overton, what up, dude? I took a week off from this to clear my head, but I'm diving back in hard this week. I have a couple promising new leads. Thank you for your work. Thank you, Outside the Overton. Zeb Boykin, totally crushing the coverage. Everyone should be checking out Zeb Boykin's coverage as well. He has done some of the best analysis, and my understanding is that he's an actual ballistics instructor, or was in the past. So thanks for popping in, Outside the Overton. Really appreciate you. Appreciate the hype. And I will be following along closely with your analysis because we got questions. AVS, why would they say he was stable at some point? That's a good fucking question because there was no world where Charlie was ever stable. It was Glenn Beck that put that out. And it's worth noting that Glenn Beck is very much in the Zionist camp. He very much is friends with all of the Zionist donors. So I don't know what to make of that. That's the thing, is that this kind of stuff requires all of this complex like vetting of sources and people's biases and what they're all about and everything. So I don't know. Range Day Bro has an autopsy report. K fell side back, not front, and died instantly. By the way, Jews were chosen to keep God's laws, not be better than others. Range Day Bro has an autopsy report. I am extremely skeptical of that claim. Where the fuck did he get an autopsy report? I don't trust that. I'll look into it though. And Jews were chosen to keep God's laws, not be better than others. Doesn't seem to be how they purport to run that relationship these days, right? Because if they were keeping God's laws, like, don't you think that one of the laws, like not murdering innocent children and women, they'd probably be keeping that one, right? But they don't seem to be keeping very many of those laws, as far as I can tell. Bix. Not only did Charlie take out the $300K loan from TPUSA in 2024 for a split dollar life insurance policy, but he also sold his home in January for $5 million. Actually, Bix, I looked into that today, and as far as I can tell, the $300,000 loan was in the other direction. I believe that $300,000 loan was from Charlie to Turning Point USA in 2024. I don't know about the split dollar life insurance policy, though. I'll look into that. But I was looking into I took a photo of your super chat, Bix, the other day, and I was looking into it today, and it got me looking into all this stuff in their filings, in their Form 990s, and we're going to talk about it this week. Just common sensing it. Thanks for all these big supers. Not buying the surgeon bullet story, not one bit. You don't operate on someone dead, correct, which is why we heard he had a pulse once at the hospital. Frank said he knew Charlie Kirk was gone when in the SUV. Frank and the rest of TP seem sketch in my opinion. Yeah, it's right. It's like there would have been no question that he was dead. It would have been very obvious. No way after a week I'm functioning after my husband is offed. Yeah, you're damn straight, Truman Show. The 9/11 War Room. I have same basic setup and overheat too. Fan pointed at setup and it keeps it cool. Like your vibe, brother. Prayers of protection to you. Richard Gage. Hey, Richard Gage? No way. Richard Gage, you're a legend, dude. You've been doing this for forever. I really appreciate you, bro. You're a big inspiration. I've learned a lot from watching you. You have a really cool setup. That's really Richard Gage in there. Thanks for the super, Richard. If y'all don't know about Richard Gage, he's like been around for forever, but he's like super secretive. Like no one knows that he exists, but he totally exists, and he does his own thing, and he's like super well read, very, very well informed. Really appreciate him. Rowe, thanks for the super. Lavington, see Charlie Kirk's arm and hand flick after assassination while bodyguards' hands are bloodless and they're handing things off. Yeah, it's weird. At 6:40 minutes, October 4th episode on the Disturbing Illusion YouTube channel. Heard that word. Del Man, you could say that both Islamic and Jewish religions both see all other religions as lesser. Correct. And that is hugely problematic. And it's these two extremist factions within those two religions that are the problem right now. And Christianity is capable of becoming extremist in this like holier than thou way and like seeing themselves as better. But that's not really the problem right now. Right now, the problem is a large segment of Jewish people that see themselves as God's chosen people and better than others, and a large swath of the Muslim world that wants this global jihad bullshit. And both of those things are huge fucking problems. Have you seen the palm pistol theory video? Yes, actually. I was very skeptical of the palm pistol video theory until someone sent me one specific video about it that actually like laid it out pretty well. The problem with the palm pistol theory in my mind is that it requires precision skill by the shooter, that like it would be very hard to aim a palm pistol, especially when it's not extended straight ahead for aiming. Like to shoot a palm pistol from like at your chest, like with any accuracy, you need to hit 100%. You can't fail. So you'd have to have like a master palm pistol assassin, which if anyone's going to have that, Mossad will fucking have that, but I don't know. Rachel's route. Love you, Ian. Missed it. Recap any ideas on squibs theories? Not a whole lot, maybe a little. I made squibs and saw them in action on movie sets. What are other theories if it was used? Smoke coming out of Charlie's shirt is suspect. I'm not confident that we have any smoke coming out of Charlie's shirt. It's in one video frame. If it was actually smoke, it would be in several video frames. It would disperse naturally. I don't think it's smoke. I'm dog's nose Ian. Woof. Your dog looks super friendly. Correct. Yes, she is. Well, depends. She's a rescue. She's got some trauma. Jim Kerr. Sorry to add the massive list of supers, but you did turn a lonely Eve into a good time. Thank you. Now I'm off to see a dead cover band with the tribe. Let's go, bro. Yeah, it is always fun to hang out with you guys through the evenings, especially on like a Sunday evening when we're keeping it low key. So it's good to have you guys here. Tone. Romans 11 makes it very clear they are forever God's chosen people. Paul makes it very clear many times in New Testament. Read your Bibles. Yeah. I mean, I don't care. If they are God's chosen people, why are they killing children? Right? Are you going to try to tell me that the Christian God wants the chosen people to be killing children en masse? You're going to try to explain that to me with scripture? Dip Rivers. Love the cut of your jib. Alberta rules, Canada sucks. Truman Show. I don't know about y'all, but I know as someone who has a very, very bougie pageant's cousin, it costs a lot of money to keep them up. Pageants? Yeah, for sure. Husman Dogan. What did you study at college? Greetings from Turkey. I did not go to college. Well, I went 3 times for fun, kind of on the side. Most recently to try to go into nursing school before COVID. Fucking did not do that, thank God. But I actually never even graduated high school. I'm a high school dropout and proud of it. Shout out Ian, you the man. Charlie lives and you know it. I don't know it, but you know, Snake Eyes not. Hey, you're one of these guys. You're a homie. You know, I know what you're reading. 12, 23, 888, 45, Goat Valhalla. Yeah, some numerology up in there. Yeah, at least you're putting Q in there. I dig you, dude. See, I love Q people. Q people are the shit. They're so much fun. Even if you think they're totally crazy and off the walls and you can't trust anything, it's like, I don't care. I don't care. Let me just chew on some tinfoil with them every now and then. It's funny. And that's not to disparage Q people either. It's like, I genuinely think you guys are awesome and a ton of fun to hang out with and chat big ideas with. And I also don't think that I believe what you believe, but that doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean you're wrong. I don't know. Frank Fontaine. Have you ever worked with software-defined radios? You can broadly explore the radio spectrum. Thought of it when you talked about police scanners. No, I don't know about that. Jacqueline Thomas. Hi, been trying to get in someone to listen. I'm currently suing an Israel-founded company for data breach and more. I have information I sent to your email. Please read. It's relevant to Charlie Kirk and the hospital in Utah. Interesting. Thank you for the super, Jacqueline Thomas. I will look for that email. I don't know what I can do about it, but I will look for it. Brittany Brush. Masonic Lodge number 33 is where Tyler Robinson lives. What? No shit. Dude, I'm almost through these supers, guys. We're almost going to do it. Outdoor Loser. I climbed Mount Baker this summer for the first time. You are Bellingham's finest. We are so proud of you here, buddy. Cheers. Boundary Bay beer and mugs. Let's go Bellingham, bro. I'm actually scheming on moving back to Bellingham next summer because I just miss the freaking mountains there so much. And it's like, I didn't realize how much my soul relies on those mountains until I'm there, gone. So hopefully I'll be seeing you Bellinghamsters again soon. Outside the Overton, Mike tards are the worst. Yeah, I'm sure that Zeb, you've gotten all the Mike comments too. I appreciate you being in here, Zeb. Thanks for hanging out. Legendary Ego. Nina, by the way, thanks for the super there. Legendary Ego. Ian, the BB Files is on YouTube for free. Love you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. Also, just accept Jesus as your savior. The BB Files is not on YouTube for free as far as I know. No. The BB Files Hey! Oh, snap! Oh, snap! It is on YouTube for free now. Search the BB Files documentary on YouTube. It is available in full. And while you're at it, you might pop through my episode that I did on Candace Owens' show while I was guest hosting for that is about to hit 2 million views, where I summarized it all and went into all the depth. Right on. Jake, I have a theory. Here, let me reset the stream there real quick. Cool. Jake, I have a theory that Tyler shot a blank round without knowing it, and the real shooter took a shot with a suppressed 22. The Mauser was dropped off for him, but loaded with a blank in the chamber. Yeah, but then it still does not explain how the rifle got off the roof with the footage that we saw. I suspect that Tyler was never on the roof, and that the person that was on the roof never actually had the rifle, and that the real shooter shot from somewhere else. I suspect that the person on the roof was just there specifically so that the homie that got video of him up there had video of him up there, and the FBI could release their video of him running across the roof and kind of make that story play. That's my best guess right now. Excuse me. Sean Marcos, as far as the assassination of Charlie Kirk, why does it seem as though the deep state / Mossad are making a joke at our expense to keep us guessing? Sure does, because it works, and that's how they do it. And they just want to bury us in conspiracies at this point. They don't even need to really give us a story that tracks. They just need to fill the zone with all the bullshit so that we can't figure out what is real. Wandy, always great content, Ian. Thanks for being honest and fair. I appreciate you. Dizzy Dabs, Tyler didn't kill Charlie. I don't think so. Cluebell, you intentionally missed my super chat. Did I? I don't think I did. Chat, did I miss Cluebell's super chat? I don't know how to find it. But I'm scrolling. Hey, I see a super chat. Wait, it's around a bunch of comments that I skipped. Oh no, I skipped 2 on accident. I skipped a girl asking me on a date. Alice Betty, if you are ever single again, I want to take you on a date at Cerise. I am single, and I don't really want to go on a date right now, unfortunately, for you, Alice. Sorry. I appreciate you. Maybe someday. I don't know. If you want to go on a date, slide into my Instagram DMs or something. Probably not going to happen. I'm pretty picky. And I'm kind of busy. I got shit to do. But that being said, it is really freaking hard for people in this industry, for someone in my position, to find a girl that I would want to date. So I don't know, whatever. Cluebell, there's your other comment. Let me bring you up on screen here. Have you seen the 3-part videos of the Vegas shooting by the YouTuber Co-op? He also did 3 Potter on Epstein. Coop? The YouTuber Coop? I don't think so. I've seen the one by oh shit, I'm gonna forget her name right now. The chick that lives in Vegas, who's super spunky, the short blonde girl. How am I forgetting her name? Oh, sorry, homegirl. I remember your name, but I don't right now. It's late. And then also I've seen a bunch of reporting by John Cullen, Crowdsource the Truth, a bunch of people. I don't know as I ever saw Coop. But sorry for skipping your first comment, Coop. Now I'm back, or Cluebell. Sorry for skipping your first comment, Cluebell. Thanks for getting me back to it. Now I got you. Kaylee K-Ann. It's pronounced Kaylee Can. Kaylee Can. I'm a front woman and musician in Detroit. Emma isn't a survivor herself and would be very smart to connect with. Oh, then maybe I'm actually thinking of someone else that's not who you're. Okay, maybe I'm getting confused. Jason Kane. The biggest conspiracy is that you are actually Dr. Disrespect. I notice how you never put sunglasses on. If my sunglasses are in the car, I guess I can't put them on right now. Sorry, bro. Have you ever seen both of us in the room together? Tim Pool also confirmed from sources that Charlie was stable. Thoughts on JBP and Lex Fridman? Can we trust any of these guys? Yeah, I certainly... I enjoy Tim a lot. I enjoy Tim and his team a lot. They're a ton of fun. They're nice guys. I don't really trust Tim's journalism all that much. Tim was spends so much time on stream. He doesn't really have any time to research or do it. Can you imagine? Just imagine Tim Pool sitting down in front of a laptop and doing research for like 2 or 3 hours and like taking notes and like coming away with more knowledge. I just can't really picture it. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. JBP, I assume that's Jordan Peterson. I feel really bad for apparently he's having a whole bunch of medical problems right now that his daughter just put out. I don't know. That sucks. Lex Fridman is a fucking spy. I don't trust any of them. No. I really only trust myself and people that I know personally and have met in person and know like their friends, families, relatives, background a little bit. For me, I have to kind of get to know you to trust you. I'll still listen to people, but holy shit, guys, slow down with the goddamn supers. Why did they pass up First Trauma Hospital? That, I mean, could be nefarious. Like they needed to go to their hospital that was controlled. It could just be that they got into not an ambulance, opened up their phone, and was like, nearest hospital, go. And just like in the heat of the moment, emergencies are crazy, bro. I've been using AI for deep research 15 hours a day for the last 4 months. You should see my notes, especially regarding Epstein. The question is, would I trust your notes? Because if you're just using AI, that's all bullshit. You've got to be going to regular sources. AI is just made up fairy dust unless it's citing real sources. And even those real sources, you have to vet where they're getting their information from. You got to be very careful with AI. But I really do appreciate your big super. And I do use AI as well now. I've just been very careful about building it in a way where I'm not relying on the AI for information. I'm relying on the AI to get me to the information that saves me a lot of time in finding my sources. Expose the truth. I can't help but wonder, how did the bullet break his necklace off? Big time. Given his Israeli-based security team handing some things off, I feel like it was some sort of close-up projectile, even if it's not the mic. Yeah, the necklace chain breaking is a big question. Whether that can be caused by a cavitation event without direct contact, or whether the bullet had to hit the necklace chain directly is a big question, because if the bullet had to contact the necklace chain directly to break the necklace, that really limits the trajectories and angles at which it could have come in at. So I think that necklace is going to be a big part of maybe actually getting an answer here someday. Levington, see my previous super chat, proof Charlie Kirk alive at the scene. Titan Bibles are written by humans, not by God, just saying. That's exactly how I feel about it. I am a follower of God, but I'm very skeptical of humans, especially when they are humans that are part of government entities trying to control people. Bix, Form 990, Schedule L, Section 2, Category D shows the X on the form box, on the from box. So it's from the organization to the LLC, not to the organization, regarding 300K. I'll look into this, Bix. I'll double check, because that is an example of a place where my understanding of it is basically AI research information at this point, and I have not sourced into that 990 myself to double check it. So I'm going to trust you right now, and I'll double check. But regardless, that's important. That's significant, right? Bix, I like you. Whoever you are, Bix, you should be producing videos. You should be publishing things. And if you're actually the X account that I think you are, you're a legend. Dimitri, Charlie wincing with his eyes closed before the shot is sus and leads to the still alive theory, bracing for a squib or something else. There is a little bit of like bracing going on. It kind of looks like it. It's like I would believe it if I was, if it came out that way. I don't know. Ro, thank you. No face. I think they're pretending to be God's chosen people. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Synagogue of Satan a little bit. Reread the Old Testament. Relearn how the promised land was acquired. Passover was a genocide of the firstborn. David Ataturk. Candace called my family crypto Jews. I have heard her husband is a Rothschild that went rogue. Please Google Rothschild sailboat and Cleon Peterson. I don't know. I don't know who you are, David, but are you a crypto Jew? I don't think her husband, George, is a Rothschild, but he's a cool dude. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. The video was timed to catch the roof runner. Not even a question. Yeah. Cash's speech was 3:22 seconds long. I mean, that is a weird coincidence, but like I've seen crazier coincidences. Aloha from Maui. I watch all your content. Huge fan. Huge. Thank you, Celia. Appreciate you. Zard Slayer. Judge Tony Graff and Phil Lyman are related. Change my mind. Paul up a side by side. If you want more evidence, let me know. I don't know what to say about that. Phil Lyman, a little sus. I don't know. Maybe. I wanted to have burr sticks. I wanted to have you see what I was talking about from a super chat about an additional guy on the roof. It's been in Life is Driving's video all along. I don't know what you're talking about, burr sticks, in the Life is Driving video, but I have been looking around in that video. Rachel Willems. Bible emphasizes special mission, not privilege. Deuteronomy 7:6. They are people for God's own possession, to follow God's commandments, to serve as example to the world, not claim inherent superior. Yes. Ryan Hildreth. Ian, thanks for everything that you do. I'm currently in... Did my camera just overheat again on us? Is that really where we're at here? We've overheated the camera 2 times in this one stream, bros. Y'all just sit tight real quick. I'm not gonna give up on you guys. At least this once. I said I would read all of your super chats, and I will read all of your super chats. But I'm just gonna take a fan over there and put a fan on this camera and see if we can't fan it up. Although that'll be super loud. That won't work. Well, that's not actually what happened, folks. That's not actually what happened, folks. Battery is now exhausted because we're overheating and then we're unplugged, and so then it is what it is. So, unfortunately, friends, that's going to have to be the end of our super chat reading because I'm currently reading from a black screen at you. Whoopsies. It is what it is. But I love you all. I don't know. I guess I'll probably save the few super chats that are left here. Don't bring any more in. Don't send them. Gigi didn't unplug anything. No, I see you guys' chat still coming in. I love you all. But that's going to have to be the end of our show. It's 9:30. It's super fucking late. Go over to X and follow Mel, the Village Crazy Lady. Jump into her live stream. It is going right now. And actually, peep this. I can show you this, eh? So that is Mel, the Village Crazy Lady. Note how that's spelled, right? VILLGE, Crazy Lady. And they are discussing right now the FARA filings that expose Israel and what's going on here. And you will get all kinds of ongoing reporting about the problem, as well as this is about this Trump's spiritual advisor. These guys are deep into the truth right now, and they know what's going on. So if I could do any one thing right now with my dead camera, it would be to send as many of you as I can over to Mel's stream to follow her and get the word out. But I suppose that is all for now, all for tonight. I love you all. Stay safe. Vote against AIPAC. Be free. Exercise your freedom of speech. Drink water. And I'll see you next time.
Conspiracy theories are dangerous.
Information is the crux of the democracy.
With Republicans, with progressives, with libertarians, because this is not about right and left. This is about right and wrong.
It's so sick that we can't talk.
Our security